on Sports56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn and Brett Stats Norsworthy.
Beautiful morning.
In and rolling Thursday, September 8th, 2022 edition of Sportstime on Sports56 with Gabe and with Stats. We're always live from the Family Leisure Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. I am former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn on Twitter at G_Kuhn71. Producer of the program is Bryant Dacus on Twitter at Bryant_Dacus. Bryant, hello.
Hey.
And my partner does pre and post for the Ole Miss Football Radio Network. He is Brett Stats Norsworthy on Twitter at Brett Norsworthy. And I ask this, knowing what's on the collective mind of our city, knowing where we stand, I think everybody needs to turn to their left, turn to their right, and ask this question of everybody in this city. How are you, Brett?
I'm well. I'm ready to escape to sports, but I also know that the cold, cruel world is definitely at play out there. The evil that exists in that cold, cruel world is at play. And, Gabe, I wish I had words, and I wish I could do something to stop it.
Right.
And, unfortunately, the words are hollow, and I can't perform this miracle. I wish I could. We are very conscious of where we all are today after a horrifying week. And we're going to try to cut up and escape to sports. Bear in mind, it's on our minds, and we know.
Yes, and a 19-year-old. I will not say his name because I think that's what he wants. 19-year-old went on a rampage around the city. 4 dead, 3 wounded.
Had 1 million people paralyzed.
The feeling last night of just having one person control the feeling of safety around an entire city for 1 million
the power
people.
Of one person.
And you see when you see like shooting spree or rampage, something like that, like usually it's overkill, it's too much, it's something that's being dramatized. This was not that. And I pray for everyone who's affected by what happened last night, the victims. Just this past week between Eliza Fletcher and what happened last night, it's hurtful. And it's sad, too, because you have 2 people who committed heinous acts, 2 lunatics who got released early from sentences, who should have still been locked up, who should have been behind bars, and they get out and they do these things. And I think I'll leave it at this, but I think when we talk about why things like this happen, yes, I think there's certain legislation that could be enacted that could help. I don't know exactly what that is. That's above my pay grade. That's not what I'm here to talk about. But I think the bigger picture things are what's being glorified in our society and what's not. Clearly, the 19-year-old last night felt that this was something he was supposed to do for whatever reason. And also, what has allowed those 2 criminals to get out of prison and commit heinous acts before their sentence was actually up? So,
after being tried by a jury of their peers.
Yes. This last week in our city, between this and Eliza Fletcher, I'm tired. It's hard to feel safe. I'm angry. I want to remind people out there, because I see this happen. You get put in a box. The city of Memphis gets put in a box when things like this happen, all these bad headlines. But I want to remind, although the city's in a bad way, there are few among us that do these types of evils. And we cannot, although it may happen, nationally, people may paint the city of Memphis a certain way. We cannot let that be a defining factor. You cannot let that define you. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that. And I think everybody gets the picture. I know everybody's struggling today. And I just want to put out a collective how are you at the listener line, 901-360-8255. Hope everyone is at least braving and trying to feel better through these times.
Well said, and I know heartfelt, Gabe.
Last night was just rough too. I have a I live with a nurse who had to deal with what happened in Collierville at the Kroger not too long ago, and that brings up PTSD. That puts her in a very, very weird state of mind, and I just know how much this affects people. And it's tough to live in a city of nearly 1 million people and not feel safe in your own home. Can't go fill up. Can't go to the pump. Can't go to AutoZone.
Random people from around the country texting. I know you got. Are you okay?
Yeah.
You know,
my brother calling
yeah.
me, FaceTiming me to see if I was fine. Just
my nephew calling me, a good friend and a great friend of this show, a name people would recognize, calling me and telling me, look out, be careful.
It's just unreal. It's unreal. Now let's move on. I again hope everyone out there is trying to brave through this situation and feel better. But first half of our show is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis. We will escape from this. On the show today, we have a lot to get to. Week 1 of the NFL starts tonight. Bills visiting the Rams. 2.5-point favorites the Bills are. We'll talk about that later in the show, and we might give out a pick. Also, 3:30, Bill Bender will join us from the Sporting News, talk some college football as he normally does on a Thursday. We have a bunch to get to. I want to get his opinion on what happened with Ohio State and that offense last week and what he thinks they can do going forward. I know he's Big Ten country.
TV ratings.
He's in Big Ten country. We'll talk about the TV ratings as well. But
did you see the TV ratings just in Ohio for Ohio State, Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Every market you can think of, just off the charts.
He's got his finger on the pulse of what happens there at Ohio State, and I really want to get the idea of what that fan base is thinking about what happened and how they think of that team going forward. 4 o'clock, we will switch gears. We'll get to some NBA, talk some NBA with Keith Smith from Spot Track, and a bunch to get to there. I know you guys probably covered Donovan Mitchell and all that last week. I'll probably bring it up again today. And then we'll see what the deal is with the Lakers. Brought it up yesterday. Pat Bev and Russell Westbrook look like fast friends. Look like great friends, when the conversation was supposed to be about if they could coexist together. 5 o'clock, Greg Gasson will join us to talk some Tigers, and that will be leading up to this Navy game that feels all important. And obviously, I think last year winning 35-17, you saw what this Tigers team was capable of. You saw that they could beat this Navy team relatively easily, but on the road in Annapolis, and they have to get on the right track quick. We'll ask Greg how they can do that. Again, listener line is 901-360-8255. You can also watch us live and message us on our socials, Sports56 WHBQ, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and go to our website, Sports56WHBQ.com. I have to start here. How about them Cardinals, Brett? How about what we saw? Yachty, 2 home runs in. They have a 5-run ninth to beat the Nationals, capped off by Tommy Edman. They go up 9.5 games on the Brewers, and the Brewers lose to the Rockies again. And I mentioned it. I should have mentioned it yesterday on the show. 2 nights ago was the first time I think the Cardinals could say the Randall Grichuk trade is paid off when he hit a 3-run shot to walk it off in Colorado.
For the Roccos.
But this is starting to feel pretty magical. It's starting to feel special again, but we've seen this with the Cardinals before.
We have kind of scuffling this week, though, with the Nationals. I mean, lost on Monday, kind of had to pull it out Tuesday and Wednesday, now down 7-4 into the bottom of the 7th on a day that you get 2 home runs for Yadier Molina. But they're going to win the Central. That makes you the 3 seed. They're not going to go above that. They're not going to go below that. Now, the question will be, get the pitching set, get everybody, just right for maybe an October push. But how are they going to get through the Braves, Mets, and Dodgers?
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
That's a lot in front of them.
But it's still, again, and last year was very similar down the stretch. Mike Schilt, what he was able to do with that team. Obviously, he got fired later, but well documented what they did last year down the stretch to be able to pull out and get into the playoffs. But
blink and you miss them in the playoffs.
It's feeling special. Dodgers, Mets, Braves. I don't think they have a roster to compete. But I guess we'll see. We've seen crazier things in the playoffs. But think about this year: Albert home run chase, Yadi and Waino swan song, and by the way, they 324th career start today, which ties the major league mark set by Mickey Lolich and Bill Freehan. Are you get to watch those two together? Oh, yeah.
Very familiar with it. Bill Freehan, the catcher for the Tigers, about the hardest thing he had to do in the World Series is lift up the rotund Mickey Lolich after he closed out the Cardinals in Game 7 in '68.
But you get that swan song. Goldie is having Paul Goldschmidt having an MVP level season, triple crown season.
Maybe the first since Ducky Medwick for the Cardinals.
Well, when you look at the NL Central,
check off Bill Freehan and Ducky Medwick already at 10 after.
And I was the one. It was definitely not on the bingo card that I was going to be the one to bring up Bill Freehan. There's no chance, right? There's no chance I was going to be the one. But while the Brewers are going 14-20 since the beginning of August too, Cardinals have been 27-8 since the beginning of August. And I think a lot of that,
just like last year.
But I think a lot of that,
16 or 18 in a row.
A lot of that is bad schedule, like a really easy schedule to deal with.
They caught an easy patch.
But they are this season. While I don't know how much high hopes I had coming into it, it's starting to feel at least like a fun one, a special one. I would bet against it ending in a World Series, even an NLCS. I would bet against it, but it's been fun to this point.
I'd bet the no on everybody though. No's easy. I'd bet the no on the Yankees, the no on the Dodgers, the no on the Mets. Mm-hmm. It's easy to bet no, but I'm with you. There have been times, and sometimes those didn't turn into a World Series winning year that you felt like that this is the go for it year. But as the path gets a little bit shorter, it might turn into more go for it. Who do you want in that 3 versus 6? Who do you want that 2 out of 3 at Busch Stadium to be against? San Diego or Milwaukee?
Oh gosh, I'd probably say Milwaukee. They've been tripped up going into where they're at right now. I don't know though. I mean, who do you say? Who do you think? You don't like the NL Central? You don't like playing the team you've played a bunch during the year?
What would they have to lose? I mean, you're talking about coming in just carefree as you could be. Milwaukee would. San Diego, with all that name brand firepower, if it got hot over the course of 4 weeks, they could win the whole thing.
I just think the Padres have a better lineup and better players.
Great lineup.
That's the whole point. Yes, I think the Brewers see the Cardinals more. But at the same time, I don't think the Brewers are as good of a ball team. I just
never ends well for them.
Mm-hmm. What are you saying, Brian?
I'm saying right now they are. Mm-hmm. Brewers are much better than the Padres right now. Padres stink.
What do you mean? Brewers have been 14-20 since
I know,
the beginning of August.
But none of these new accolades or these new players that they have with all these accolades have been able to do anything. Juan Soto is terrible right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. But at
Juan
the same time,
Soto
it's still
is
Juan
broken.
Soto.
He's never going to have the type of career he had when he was in Washington. Now that he's in San Diego, everything changed.
Okay, but
now batting Albert Pujols.
But point being, when it comes to the Padres versus the Brewers, the Padres are just on paper, roster-wise, a better ball club. Now, I completely understand that they have been struggling, but Juan Soto's still Juan Soto.
But in baseball, aren't you always scared of something? Well, can we stay this hot? Can we break out of this slump? All that team that's 4 back, all that team you're always kind of scared of the dark in baseball, aren't you?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I don't think the Cardinals should be overly scared of either of those teams right now, though, because they've both been awful.
Okay, so they dispatch of whomever in that.
Then they go assuming anything, but
then they would get either the Braves or the Mets, and I
sorry.
think both of that would be. I think that'd be 4-1, maybe 4-2.
I think 4-2.
I sure hope for a different result.
I just don't see it. Dodgers, Mets, Braves are just better.
No. That next round would be 3 out of 5. That wouldn't even be 7 games.
Which may help, may work.
Sure could.
Right. But Dodgers,
simple math. You only got to beat them 3 times instead of 4.
But Dodgers, Mets, Braves. I'm sorry. Cardinals. I think the additions of Jordan Montgomery, the addition of Jose Quintana is awesome. It's worked down the stretch of this season during the regular season against Jojo Romero against a pretty easy against a pretty easy part of your schedule. But those teams are going to be able to take advantage to a certain extent. We'll see, though. We'll see. Also,
it's the Dodgers.
How about
to
this,
lose,
guys? I know you guys are familiar with this name. Alec Burleson debuted today
Love Alec Burleson, don't we, Bryant Davis?
Yeah, we
Anybody
do.
that goes to Third and Union the last 2 years have seen him really just burst on the scene. And the in-stadium interview that Jim Hayes with the Valley Cardinal Network today did with his dad, I mean, just that if you don't think it's fun for the dads and for people who put in all the work and driven you around to all the ballparks. Gabe, I know you got to experience your parents being so proud of you playing big-time college football. Hey, seeing his dad had never been to Busch Stadium before today, and he said, it's big. And his dad was very North Carolina, very country. I can say that. I'm very country. You could tell he was wild-eyed and just so proud of his son. He should be.
Alec Burleson can play a lot of different positions, though, generally
He can.
speaking. A little bit, a little right field, first base.
Sure can.
I mean, he can move around a
Pitched
little
in
bit.
college at East Carolina.
Interesting. Okay.
There's you an emergency pitcher late.
But
in the game
but he's been the Redbirds' best hitter, right? Consistently
He
the
has
past couple
been.
of years.
He finds a guy. I saw him with an inside the park home run this year.
Yeah.
I'd never
Yeah.
seen one in my life.
That was
and get
him.
two in 2
Okay.
weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I got Harrison Bader at Busch Stadium and then Alec Burleson at AutoZone Park. So a lot of fun. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis. They are at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. And they are the one and only Lexus dealership in town. Give them a call at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2022 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 and soon, real soon, the 2023 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Also worth mentioning, Alec Burleson debut. That's the 15th rookie to debut this year for the Cardinals.
And they all have helped.
That's insane. And it's usually when you hear up above 10 rookies debuting in the same season, that team is 20 games under 500
For an average AAA team.
I mean, that's ridiculous. That's crazy to me. But hey, Cardinals have got it done. 81-56 to this point in the year, maybe 57 after the Nets put the finishing touches here in the last 2 innings. Top story of the day for me: Bills at Rams. Bills 2.5-point favorites on NBC. 7:20 tonight. First regular season game. First of 272 in the regular season is tonight. And there's a lot of things to talk about going into this. You have the team who won the Super Bowl last year, and the Rams. Matt Stafford coming off elbow surgery, trying to get back right before the year. A lot of people think the Rams are not ready for this game. I'm not going to spoil my pick, but it may have something to do with how I feel about the Rams. But I think we should watch tonight. Bills' run game. Bills, what are they going to do? How are they going to look offensively to sort of help Josh Allen, where Josh Allen doesn't have to run for 700 yards in a season? And they really are. I mean, you go look around the media space, social media space, and see who people are picking for the Super Bowl. Who is the early pick for the Super Bowl? And I understand there's a lot of things that could happen between now and the time we get to there in February, but the Bills are the overwhelming favorite that a lot of people are picking. So we will see how this goes. Now, one more nugget. Sean McVay, 81 games in his Rams coaching career. He's never been under 500, so you do the math there. Never has lost a season opener. We'll see if he loses his first one tonight.
My top story right there. It begins tonight for the NFL. Picks all are in, and you're right. Buffalo, one of the almost consensus favorite. Green Bay gets a lot of popularity. Rams to repeat. Some are calling that one. Maybe another one for TB12. I don't think there are that many really rotten bad teams. There are a couple. Chicago, both New York teams, Jacksonville, maybe Atlanta. An injury could affect somebody at the end of the year, and you look back, and they ended up being bad because of that. But it's a lot of parity out there. Pete Rozell's dream of parity, it's been reached. Buffalo, they've never won one. That would be a fun Super Bowl winner come Super Bowl 23 in Glendale for Super Bowl 57 in 2023 in Glendale. And Bo Marchant, remember his pick was Buffalo against Minnesota. The Vikings have never won it. 4 ugly Super Bowl losses for them, just like for Buffalo. I'm always for new teams. If we had a Buffalo-Minnesota Super Bowl 57, I'd be just fine by it.
Not top story of the day.
I'd live with it. I'll tell you that. Super Bowl, Super Bowl. It's going to get eyes on it. It's going to be the most watched program
Bengals
of
proved
the year.
that last year, didn't they?
That's life. That is life. Not top story of the day for me. Dabo Swinney gets an extension with Clemson, averaging $11.5 million a year, 10 years, $115 million on this. And this is kind of funny. And I think this was part of his old contract as well. But on his term sheet, if Dabo leaves to become the Alabama head coach, expressly says if you become the Alabama head coach, you will owe $9 million to Clemson. That number would be $6 million in 2022 if he left for another college team. He would owe nothing, though, if he left for the NFL. And also, if Clemson, this is kind of funny.
Dabo in the NFL?
But it's in his term sheet.
Okay.
But also, in his term sheet, if Clemson were to fire him without cause, so if they were to fire him without cause, which, come on, that's just not going to happen. It's not a reality. But think about this. Could you imagine if they fired him without cause after this year and owed him $64 million? $64 million. $60 million in 2024-25, $57 million in 2026. And then the rest of them, they
if he
just
went
owe the
1-11 the rest of this year, would they?
I don't know. Well,
there's a better
he'd
chance
only go
him
1-10 because he would not be in any extra games.
That's right.
He's 1-0 right now.
He's 1-0 right now. If there's a better chance they would rename the stadium after him than they would fire him without cause.
But yes, that's a good point. Now, I hate to do this because every time it comes up, Dabo making this type of money, I can't help but think about his NIL talk with his players.
He was out of here a few years ago.
He said,
wasn't he?
if players get money, I'm going to be out of here. But no, since he gets his money, it's no issue. I get $11.5 million a year, but if my players get NIL money, I'm done with the sport. Didn't
so
come
true,
to fruition.
Gabe.
Didn't come to fruition, but it's still on my mind.
And I like Dabo. He is a very sincere, very earnest, legitimately kind person, but that was a little much. It sure was. My not top story, I like championships. That's what I think you're graded by. I think you're graded by majors. You're graded by the championship trophy. And in this 21st century, the Cardinals with 2 World Series, 4 National League pennants, but also a 21st century model of consistency. Last night, win number 81, which guarantees no losing record this year. Only in 2007, 78, and 84, and that was a year after a World Series title, only 1 losing record in this 21st century for the Cardinals. 16 playoff seasons in there. I'm counting this year. 16 in there. Only 1 losing year. In 23 years of baseball in this 21st century, the Cardinals have been a excellent franchise.
Yeah, there's no denying it even slightly. They've been
always in it. We have some intrigue in October. We got there a couple of times.
It's kind of funny because I think a lot of franchises and like their fans around the MLB, they just want to get into the playoffs. They want a chance.
It's my fault, Gabe. It's my fault.
What?
It's my fault.
Why?
Before the David Freese bat, I prayed. I said, if you'll let the Cardinals wiggle out of this one, I'll never ask you for another Cardinal thing again.
You've broken.
He
that
delivered.
Already. You've broken that already, though. I mean, come on. You've asked for more.
But he delivered. So no, I kid. I don't pray for things
yes,
like that.
they have been very good. But as of late, it's just not. It doesn't seem like enough to get over the hump with the rest of the teams.
It hadn't been a real push. But the last real push, Gabe, how did Washington win it in 2019? They got so hot and bulldozed the Cardinals. Cardinals were in the LCS that year.
Yeah, and they got killed. I mean, it just got
wasn't
not
even
competitive.
close.
Yeah, so I again, there's always the outside chance the Cardinals can make something shake this offseason, but I would bet against it. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day.
I would too. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. Kick off the NFL season tonight with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Join right now to get started with $150 in free bets that's guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Sign up right now with promo code CASH to get in on the action. Then you can turn tonight into payday, and you can do it all season long at FanDuel. Play your way and bet on more than just the final score. Wager on everything from touchdowns to total yards to catches. to the first player that scores. And with that new contract, I'm going to go with Dawson Knox tonight for the Buffalo Bills, first player to score in the game tonight. You can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code CASH. Sign up right now. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Week 2 of the college football season is upon us. Week 1 in the rear view. We have to recap and look ahead at the same time. Bill Bender will join us next.
Start your day with Sports 56 mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. It's been a particularly rainy season, and that stain on your ceiling isn't getting any smaller, exposing your family to the possibility of mold. Let me come take a look. 867-0303. Our technicians are Owens Corning Platinum Preferred, so don't let someone tell you that it has to be replaced if all you need is a repair to get several more years of life. 867-0303. Have me on your speed dial for when life's little catastrophes come up. 867-0303. Upgrade your roof to a beautiful Owens Corning Duration Architectural Shingle with a 50-year warranty and an unheard of 25-year labor guarantee. I'll measure your roof from outer space and give you a competitive estimate right over the phone. Buy now and pay nothing till 2022 with approved credit. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Add a little excitement to your sports watching experience by betting on all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There's a reason why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Their app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique, fun bet types like same-game parlay, and exclusive always-on promotions such as enhanced odds boosts on the biggest events to let you get more action out of every game day. And if you win, they even get you your winnings safely in as little as 24 hours. If you've never tried FanDuel Sportsbook, what are you waiting for? Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started and be sure to sign up with promo code CASH so they know I sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code CASH. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
Absolutely spectacular design, spared no expense.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Back in Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe, he's Stats, and joining us via the phone line is Bill Bender from the Sporting News, national college football writer for them at Bill Bender 92 on that Twitter machine. Bill, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, as always. So, overarching takeaways from week one of the college football slate.
I mean, Georgia was really impressive, probably the most impressive to me, to be able to reload like that and just unload on Oregon the way they did. Ohio State's defense looked good. Anthony Richardson emerged, and here we go. I mean,
Right.
a fun week one and quick turnaround right into week two. There's not much time to rest.
So I'm curious because I know you see them closely. You know a lot of people in that fan base. Ohio State, what did you think of their first game? Obviously, we're talking about a top 5 win, and I think people have to put that into perspective. That Notre Dame team, I think, was a little better defensively than a lot of people thought. But what lens do you view that win through? 21-10, not over. They weren't overly impressive on the offensive end.
Yeah, but I think Jackson Smith and Jigba's injury threw them off a little bit. Push came to shove. They made the plays when they had to. I think they were more happy about it than anybody else could be.
Right.
Because they won a tough kind of throwback game with defense and toughness and all those
Running
things
game.
that were questioned about them last year. So, yeah, I mean, they're not going to complain about that. My takeaway from that was less about Ohio State, who's probably not going to have a chance to lose a game until Michigan, and more about Notre Dame acquitting themselves well, although it hurt not having Jarrett Patterson because they really couldn't run the football.
Bill, I am very concerned about this year in college football and later in college basketball as well, with the proliferation, the explosion of NIL and all the money and everybody kind of knowing that the players are making money. And also this, and I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because I endorse and I do ads for, and I find nothing at all wrong with betting on ball games. I think everybody needs to sort that out on their own. If you can't, don't. If you like to, keep it sensible. But here's Ohio State. They beat Notre Dame double digits in a old school game, and they're kind of getting picked at for style points. And I'm afraid we're going to have more and more of that with the explosion of sports wagering and the criticism at the youngsters for NIL.
Yeah, probably. But again, they won the game, and being inside that locker room, I really do believe that Njigba's injury threw him off a little bit because they didn't have Fleming either. And go figure that Xavier Johnson, a little used receiver, steps in and makes the biggest catch of the game. So, yeah, it's an 11-point win. Notre Dame had a chance down 14-10 to really go on a drive there and didn't do it. And again, I just think their takeaway in their locker room is, hey, we're tough. We can stop the run, and that's what killed us against Oregon and Michigan last year. And you've got to be able to do that and be physical at the point of contact against. They're probably, let's be honest, they're probably looking to the bigger picture, the Georgias and the Alabamas and whoever that number 4 is going to be.
Now, one first-year head coach, young guy, Marcus Freeman, to another, and you mentioned it off the top with that Georgia game, that beatdown of Oregon. Dan Lanning, that was about as bad as it could have gone week one for him. I think it says more about Georgia, though, and Stetson Bennett, too. That was a different Stetson Bennett than I'm used to, than I've ever seen. Last year, not like that. Hand the ball off, a little bit of play action. Let's just win a game, grind it out, let our defense do the job. 368, 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing. I was impressed, and I'm bought in to some of his stock this year.
Well, it's amazing what national championship can do for your confidence. I mean, he's playing with house money now. I mean, he's not going to lose his job, and he's going to go out there, and they're not going to lose probably a regular season game. They probably won't be seriously challenged until Tennessee or maybe Florida, depending on what happens with Florida. So, yeah, I mean, Georgia looks really good. I was impressed. I was watching that game in the press box and just amazed that they came out 7 possessions, 7 touchdowns. Oh, by the way, Will Muschamp, he knows a thing or two about defense.
Yeah.
He's their coordinator now, and he's a Georgia guy. Nobody loves Georgia as much as that guy. So they don't miss a beat. And they, if you told one of you guys sit there and says, hey, Georgia, I think Georgia's number 1, I probably wouldn't put up much of a fight.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. And for Stetson Bennett, if we fast forward to the end of the year, and they win it all, they go back to back. It speaks for itself. They put his face on the money in the state of Georgia. I mean, he's just legendary status, unlike anything this side of Herschel we've ever seen. If he falls a little short and he's something in 1, I think a lot of people would defend him in the all-time league, not as the best quarterback, but as maybe the all-time winningest Georgia quarterback. Because unlike Buck Bellew after they won it all in 80, Buck Bellew came back in 81 and they only lost 1. But he had Herschel. Stetson Bennett doesn't.
No, but he's got a lot of NFL talent around him. And, I'm thinking in my head, I think the last 2 quarterbacks to go back-to-back, A.J. McCarron and Leinart, technically. Mm-hmm. I mean, because they split a title and then won a title. I mean, they're not. It doesn't necessarily have to be the first-round NFL stud. I mean, Leinart and McCarron didn't have huge NFL careers, and I think Tommy Frazier didn't have a huge NFL career. But when you can go back-to-back, and you're a legend in your program, you just said it. If Stetson Bennett goes back-to-back, there isn't a person in the state of Georgia that is going to care if he is out of the NFL in 3 years. They're going to care that he won back-to-back national titles.
Bill, that's it, and I love giving column ideas for you for the rest of the year, and I know it. You're already on that track. I mean, look at Craig Krenzel, look at Jay Barker, look at Ken Dorsey. Mm-hmm. The national championship quarterback is not always the model of the NFL.
No, and it isn't. And even in the BCS era. Now, to be fair, I mean there are the Joe Burrows and Cam Newtons. And, one of the things about the Heisman Trophy, as the stat I like to point out, I think I said it on this show last week, sorry if I repeat it, but every Heisman winner since the playoffs started, except Lamar Jackson, played on a playoff team. Mm-hmm. So that's like when you look into Heisman bidding and that kind of stuff, you start with Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud. Clemson's in. I mean, Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett is, I think you guys told me last week, somebody on your show said he was a Heisman sleeper, and I kind of was like, but now I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. He
right.
should be a Heisman finalist.
I'm not fully bought in yet, Bill, but I'm close. That was just a different Stetson Bennett altogether. Now, Florida gets the big win in the Swamp against Utah, and Anthony Richardson looked unbelievable. But Florida has another challenge this week against Kentucky. How bought in are you on Billy Napier and that squad?
Oh, I mean, yeah. Look, I picked them to beat Utah last week, but here's something that sports writers rarely do. It's not something to brag on because I just didn't know. I didn't know what it would look like with Billy Napier. I didn't know what Anthony Richardson was going to do against a tough Utah team, but he obviously came out there, made great passes, made the jump pass that everybody's replaying, ran for over 100 yards. That's a problem for opposing defenses. And I think it's going to be a problem for Kentucky, too. So, that's one of those. Billy Napier, man, he did a great job with Levi Lewis at Louisiana. He knows what he's doing. He's a winner. He coached with Clemson. He coached with Alabama. It's like learning from, fast food at McDonald's and Wendy's. You're going to do okay if you go into fast food then. So at least I think so. You guys may disagree. But, he's great. And I think there's a good chance they're going to be 3-0 when they play Tennessee, and there's a good chance Tennessee's going to be 3-0 as well.
So that with Tennessee at Pittsburgh on Saturday afternoon, and I think this game will look a lot like last year's game, kind of a wild, fun affair. Comes down to the last few minutes. Your thoughts on the Panthers and the Vols?
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers, that's going to be a fun game. A lot of points. Both teams, good quarterback play. Tough game to go to the road. I mean, Pitt's tough at home, pretty good on the interior. They played a wild one last year. But I like Tennessee to go in there and win. I think Hendon Hooker becomes the difference. A guy that, again, kind of like Richardson, does it with his feet, does it with his arm, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And that's going to be the key in this game, where Hendon Hooker doesn't turn the ball over. they're going to have a chance to go in there and Pitt and win the ball game.
I asked this question, and I don't hear it asked a lot, and I know he's done a good job. He hasn't done like a fantastic job. Last year was fantastic. Does Pat Narduzzi get enough credit for what he's done at Pitt?
He's done a nice job. Yeah, he really has. He's made it interesting because they were down when he got there. There was that stretch of 8-5, 8-5.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for them to win an ACC championship breakthrough, he's done a nice job recruiting. Tough place to win because you're situated there between Ohio State and Penn State, and you got to try to recruit and hit Pennsylvania hard and try to get into Ohio, and he's done that on some level. The Kenny Pickett thing helped vault the program, and I like him. I like my interactions with him. I think he's a great football mind. He's kind of quirky, and so am I. So, I mean, I get along with quirky people because it takes one to know one, I suppose.
Bill, what's success Saturday in Austin for Sark and Quinn Ewers in Texas football?
That was one I watched, and if you get a chance to read the piece I read on him this week, because I think I watched his first start, and there's so much attention on his long ball. It's kind of like John Daly, right? You go to the golf range, you want to see John Daly hit the thing 400 yards. When you go to the football field, everybody's going to want to see Quinn Ewers throw this thing like 65 yards. But where he's going to be more important against Alabama is going to be the 20-yard box. He needs to work the RPO game, get the ball to Jatavian Sanders. They need to score a bunch of points. And at best case scenario, they get in a game like they did with LSU a few years ago, where it's back and forth, and then Joe Burrow just made the play. On the other hand, Brad, I think Alabama might make a statement here. Might just come out and say, "Oh, Georgia, you think you're number one? Watch what we do to Texas." And by the way, Texas A&M, I hope you're watching. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and the whole former assistant thing, it comes in here too with Sark.
But with my schedule Saturday, I can watch the whole game. If I didn't, there's one box score nugget I want to go to. You can go to Bijan Robinson's box score for rushing yards, attempts and yards, and know whether it was pretty good day for Texas or total disaster. I mean, if you go to his box score and it's 11 carries for 29 yards, it's going to be you go to the top of that box score and it's going to be about 49-10.
Well, and he's going up against what's probably the best group of linebackers in the country with Will Anderson, Dallas Turner, Jalen Moody, Henry Toto. That's 4 NFL linebackers. So I think Texas is going to have to do not just a good job of sticking with the run, but involving him in the screen game. I would anticipate that early in the game, but they can't telegraph it because, again, you're dealing with 4 really good linebackers. And I think that could help offset the rush from Turner and Anderson.
Last thing for our guest, Bill Bender from the Sporting News. I watched that Clemson game against Georgia Tech. DJU did not impress me early in the game. He fumbled, but I think he played at least steadier than he did a year ago. I think everybody could agree there. Didn't throw a pick, tried to take care of the ball in the second half, placed a couple balls, although, again, he just doesn't look like he did against Notre Dame during the COVID year. How real do you think the quarterback controversy is going to be as we continue to go along this year with Clemson?
Well, this is so interesting. I'm glad you asked me this because I think the 2 teams that I think are the 4th best team in the country, that, and it's ranked, if it's Clemson, if it's Michigan, they both are facing the same issue.
Yeah.
That in Clemson's case, we know about DJU that you want to stick with him. He's been a leader, but the guy behind him is pretty good. And then Michigan this week trying McCarthy out, and McNamara didn't sound happy in his comments after. I mean, they're 51% favorite. We're not going to learn too much. But I am one of those people that think, and it's unfortunate, that if Clemson and Michigan are serious about, winning the whole thing, they're going to probably have to hand the keys to Klubnik and McCarthy at some point. Mm-hmm. And that's the hard part for these coaches. I don't envy Harbaugh or Dabo. And I know Dabo's done this before, though, right? He's pulled that trigger. So Harbaugh, it might be a little more complicated because, again, there's another quirky person. And, again, I don't mind dealing with him because it takes one to know one.
But you bring up Cade McNamara after the game. I thought that was a bold strategy to take with Jim Harbaugh to sort of be sort of outward against what's going on and saying, I thought I earned it during camp. I'm surprised we're in this situation.
you're exactly right, because these kids are humans. It's not a video game, right? If we were just plopping in NCAA, everybody's starting McCarthy. You know, the 5-star arm, the running. Yeah, but it's not. And McNamara is one of, I've pointed this out many times, he's one of 3 Michigan quarterbacks to beat Ohio State this century. And the other 2 are Tom Brady and Denard Robinson. And those guys are like program icons.
Yeah.
So, and anytime you beat somebody 51-7, and that's the press conference bit, yeah, you pay attention to it. I do, because you know there's a locker room with a bunch of 18 to 22-year-old kids that aren't video game pixel guys. You know what I mean? So this is it's an interesting dynamic they have. Fortunately, their schedule's really soft here in the first month of the season.
Yeah, looking forward to this weekend. He is the national college football writer for Sporting News. He is Bill Bender on Twitter at BillBender92. Bill, always appreciate it, man. Let's do it again next week.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, guys. Great talk.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much. Bill Bender with the Sporting News, joining us every Thursday, talking all things college football. Gabe, we were at the commissary yesterday. We were at the Collierville commissary, and I tell people all the time, I beg you, save room for dessert. We barely did. We barely did. I felt like I let the people down, barely saving room for that great banana pudding, but we got there. Either place, the new Collierville commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. And tonight we can get out on that patio in Collierville with the nicer weather, the cooler weather, and enjoy this Thursday night football. And if you're getting ready for tailgating this weekend, make the commissary your stop. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown. Those great party areas. Orders to go, catering, tailgating. It's always the first stop for any big football weekend. Should be at the commissary, either the new Collierville commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. If you're looking for an easier way to order, text commissary to 33733. The tamales, the nachos, the smoked chicken wings, the cheese plate. That's just the appetizers. And then the ribs or the shoulder, chopped or pulled on a sandwich on the plate. All the sides and those desserts, like the best lemon icebox pie I've ever had anywhere, in that outstanding banana pudding. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown. Enjoy the weekend and let it get started at the commissary.
And we're approaching that weekend, week 2 of the college football season. We have some AAC and SEC matchups to talk about when we come back.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Life is short, and if we spend our time suffering with pain and it takes away our joy, that's not a very good way to live.
He's right. It's hard to be happy when you're in constant pain. QC Kinetics patient Chad admits the chronic pain in his knee really robbed his quality of life.
When I was going to the traditional doctor and getting the pain pills, my smile wasn't as big as it usually is. Going to my high school reunion on crutches, it was awful.
But then Chad visited QC Kinetics. He experienced the real power behind natural regenerative treatments. Using healing properties from his own body, QC Kinetics was able to restore and repair damaged tissue, finally giving Chad lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime.
And I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
Learn how advanced regenerative medicine can help your body heal itself at QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
The NFL season's almost here. Kick off week 1 with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today to get started with $150 in free bets. Guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Sign up with promo code WIN to get in on the action. Then you turn your game day into payday all season long. I'd love to throw $150 in free bets on the Niners to win the NFC. Play your way. Bet on more than just the final score. Wager on everything. Touchdowns, total yards, catches. You could even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same game parlay. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets. Win or lose with promo promo code WIN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus in select states. Must be present in states where betting is legal. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable. Free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut, 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Indiana, 1-877-770-STOP. Louisiana, 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. New York, Tennessee, Redline, 1-800-889-9789. Tennessee, 1-800-522-4700. Wyoming, or visit www.1-800-GAMBLER.net. West Virginia.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Kevin Harlan from Westwood One inviting you to join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner from Los Angeles for the kickoff of the new NFL season, when the defending Super Bowl champion Rams play host to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. King Cooper Cup and the Rams pick up where they left off last year. Join us to find out, coming up for the NFL opening kickoff.
Right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Come on, we're going to be late to the cookout.
I was just packing up my famous mac and cheese.
I hope you packed the Pepto, too.
Huh?
Pepto-Bismol provides fast relief from heartburn and indigestion. You know, that uncomfortable feeling after you eat too much. And after the deviled eggs, baked beans, and barbecue ribs, you're going to need it.
Barbecue ribs? I should probably pack an extra shirt, too.
Good call.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto-Bismol. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
O'Reilly. Trust the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your car. Like 5 quarts of Mobile One Full Synthetic, now just $33.95, plus earn double O Rewards points. Extend the life of your vehicle, improve performance, and protect your engine against sludge and wear with Mobile One Full Synthetic at O'Reilly Auto Parts and O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand bottled, taste tested, sent to a few friends, then taste tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
I work hard for this. I want you to know that.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
So honestly, kind of a light slate in the American Athletic Conference this week. You look at that Memphis Navy game on Saturday, and I think around here a lot of local interest. We certainly want to see that, and I think the Tigers absolutely, positively, they won 3 straight. They have to get this done. And I honestly, Brett, the more I look at this, there should be no questions asked about what should happen here. This needs to be a convincing win. It needs to be a runaway win.
And you're sure not doing it, and I'm not doing it. We're not trying to put undue, set the bar to. It's just facts. I mean, go to Navy, take care of business, get on that charter, come home for what I think will be a fun atmosphere against Arkansas State. Arkansas State goes to Columbus. You're talking about a long charter home from Columbus playing Ohio State. But you're right. The best AAC game probably is tomorrow night. Louisville. Against Central Florida. Let's see if John Rice Plumlee, against much better competition, can do it.
Right, but Louisville at the same time, I've seen the Malik Cunningham experience. You've seen it firsthand. It's not very good. It's just not.
It's very inconsistent.
And I know Dino Babers did all he could to get that Syracuse team back up and going, but beating Louisville 31-7. That's not what Louisville expected to have done to them first week against Syracuse. I just don't know if they're very good. And do we talk about Scott Satterfield and what he should be thinking about his job security? enough.
Gabe, I thought he got off to just the best start at Louisville and was off to the races. COVID kind of got him a little bit. And then that opening game last year, one game, opening night, but I was not very impressed at all. And in talking to some closer to the Louisville program, they're not either. A little bit like coming out of the AAC for some is coming out of Sunbelt and App State for others.
4-7, 6-7, now off to an 0-1 start. I think very well could be 0-2, traveling to UCF in the bounce house. That's tough. And I think Gus, while we can talk all we want about Gus and how it ended at Auburn, I think Gus is a decent coach. I think he's doing an okay job at UCF. I don't know how it'll last once he gets in the Big 12. I don't know how, what it's going to progress like as that schedule gets tougher. But I thought last year was a job well done by him in a year where he had a guy in Mikey Keene that he really didn't trust, that doesn't fit his system at all.
Yeah, and he got pretty good ball out of him. We talked about Houston and Texas Tech yesterday. Two sneaky, maybe look out, could be good games. One on Saturday night, Northern Illinois at Tulsa, and another one, Old Dominion at East Carolina. Can East Carolina have that same stadium feel for ODU that they had for NC State?
And you've been mentioning it. I was surprised with ECU's defense, how they look. They look so good.
They were something else, and the group tackling, and the form tackling in an era that especially every old man like me complains about tackling these days. The tackling by East Carolina.
We saw how
we
saw how the Tigers tackled on Saturday, so I think the point stands.
And a lot of people tackle like that early.
But no, I wonder how much you could chalk that up to East Carolina game one at home against a top 15 team, but they were everywhere. In the SEC. I got some really good matchups. Starts with Tennessee Pitt. We've talked about that at length. Alabama Texas. We've talked about that. A sneaky one that we're gonna have to, and obviously Kentucky and Florida. We'll get to that a little bit later. The sneaky one is South Carolina Arkansas. It's gonna be Arkansas's. I mean, obviously they got tested last week against Cincinnati, but I think South Carolina can show, hey, we're here. We are ready to compete.
That's it. And for two hungry programs with great fan bases in good times and bad, somebody Saturday afternoon about 2:30 is going to be 2-0.
Yeah.
That'll feel real good.
And I'm high. I'm high on South Carolina. At least I was coming into the year. That performance though by Spencer Rattler was just not that great against Georgia State. We'll see if he can change it around this week against Arkansas, but that's going to be tough to change it around against that defense and Barry Odom, how he's going to scheme him up. But attention, sports fans, your favorite sports book. BetUS.com is back for the 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of 200%, BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including the NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including their coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. You need a sports book with integrity and longevity, and you need to know that you're going to get paid. You need a sports book that offers everything, including live betting, college sports, MMA, golf, horses, esports, and all kinds of crazy bets. Call today. 1-800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US. And they will walk you through setting up an account. Nobody in the industry gives better bonuses than BetUS. Join now. Mention promo code Sports56Radio. Again, promo code Sports56Radio. And you can get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Nobody beats that. Head to BetUS.com and join today. That's BetUS, where the game begins. I'll give you my Bills-Rams pick later. Bills minus 2.5 point favorites. And we'll pick that. Right around 4:30. So coming up relatively soon. But coming up next, we switch gears completely, and we talk some NBA with our man. Joins us weekly, Keith Smith.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, but when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So we're going to use humor. But we don't want to insult your intelligence, so nothing too goofy. And we need to avoid any polarizing topics. Oh, and it has to be about how you can save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. You know what? Maybe humor is a bad idea. Yeah, it's never going to work. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
The summer clearance sale is happening now at Family Leisure. You can get up to $2,000 off on a swimming pool. Yes, you heard me. $2,000 off on swimming pools. Get it installed in 2022. You'll be ready for summer 2023. Plus, if you are more of a do-it-yourselfer, Family Leisure has specials that are just too good to pass up, with free ladder upgrades and a whole season worth of chemicals. No one else can offer that kind of deal. Looking for patio furniture? In-stock sets are up to 30% off. Play gyms and trampolines, you can get up to $1,000 off with free installation. We don't know how long these hot temperatures will last, but we do know these prices will not. So take advantage of the summer clearance sale. It's happening right now at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Wooden Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkham for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Thinking about buying a new or used car or truck? Remember, the selection's better and the savings are bigger at Sunrise. Over 600 new cars and trucks to choose from. Factory rebates up to $2,000 and interest rates low as 0%. Bad credit? It's okay. At Sunrise, we've got a financing plan for everybody. SunriseMemphis.com. We're saving you money. It's just the way of doing business. Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville. We make it fun to buy a car again. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Next to Sunrise Wolf Chase.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Bon appetit.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Papa was a Rolling Stone, but now I got Rolling Stones in the bezel. Ice. Mama and
Back rolling, hour
alone,
2, Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe, he's Stats. Brian Davis in the Family Leisure Studios with me, producing the program. And joining us via the phone line right now is Keith Smith on Twitter, at Keith Smith NBA from Spot Track, Celtics blog, and from the Front Office Show with Trevor Lane. You can find that on YouTube. Keith, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
I am doing well. I missed you last week. I was out of the studio.
Yeah, I know. You guys are cramming in some vacation, right?
Yeah.
Football season getting ready to go, so you got to get that vacation in now.
I feel that. Now, I missed the whole, I think it dropped last Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, but Donovan Mitchell to the Cavs, I missed that whole conversation. I guess I'll start there. What do you think about the Cavs now from a perspective of where they could potentially land in the Eastern Conference with the starting lineup rotation they'll have?
Yeah, I think this takes the Cavs from basically being a team that was probably going to be in the mix to get in that top six and an assured playoff spot to being a team that, barring something going really wrong, should be in the top six. And then after that, we'll see. They're going to be kind of right there with maybe Toronto, Miami. If a team falters in that top four, then maybe they're one of the teams that slides in there. But I think they're firmly in the mix now to be a playoff team, and that's this year. And then going forward, that they're going to be a dangerous team in the next couple of seasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they need seasoning, like the Grizzlies need some seasoning. There are a lot of those teams out there. New Orleans they're a seasoning team. What's one or two more in the East to go along with Cleveland that just need a few lumps in the playoffs? You gotta do it a few times.
Yeah, I think you could put Toronto maybe in that group. I think it seems weird to say because some of those guys like Siakam and Van Vliet were part of the title team a few years back, but some of the other guys were not. Guys like Anunoby and Scotty Barnes and a couple of those players. They've got some good players, so I think they're probably let's see where it all lands out. And then the rest of the East teams, a lot of them are more veteran based. The teams that we expect to be pretty good have guys that have been around a while and doing it. The teams that kind of need a lot of growth, we still expect them to be probably pretty poor for at least another year or two, like Detroit and Orlando and teams like that.
So at the top, though, teams that have been around, I think everybody says the Heat, Celtics, Bucks, Sixers. I want to focus on the Sixers because they signed Montrezl Harrell. Montrezl Harrell was the sixth man of the year last time he was with Doc Rivers. Do you genuinely think, and I think when we talk about it last year at this time, and even as we got into the season, we said 76ers, if everything breaks right, yes. That Joel Embiid doesn't get hurt, maybe they could win a championship. Do you really think that they are a championship contender?
I think they have a chance. Yeah, I think they've got, arguably two of the most dominant offensive players in the league, and Harden and Embiid. Tobias Harris is no slouch. He can still go get you 20, 25 points on any given night. And then they added defense and shooting around those guys like PJ Tucker, Daniel House. You need guys who don't really need the ball in their hands to be effective with those guys. I think Tyrese Maxey's another kid who has a real chance to take a big leap forward this coming season. But their depth, that was what they needed to fill out. Their starting five was good last year. It was going to be good again this year. It was, we got to get a little bit more depth in there and around those guys. And the last kind of piece where they were missing depth was at the center spot. The Sixers fans are still a little feeling like they don't have a two-way wing after trading Danny Green. And I think there is some truth to that. But I think the reality is they needed another big. You need to have somebody that you can put in there on nights when you want to rest Embiid. That doesn't mean Harrell starts, but on those nights he probably plays 30 minutes off the bench versus probably the 15 or 20 he's going to get. But yeah, they're deep. They're tough. It's just going to all come together. That's going to be their challenge.
It's a love fest in Lakerland, isn't
it? Yeah, right now it seems to be two guys who pretty famously did not get along. Now all of a sudden are look like they're going to be best buddies. But we'll see. What that turns into. Give it a couple weeks in the training camp when they've been going against each other for a few days, how that feels. We'll see what it looks like then.
It's funny because I said this, and I made this point yesterday. Like, when people were having the conversation about Pat Bev and Russell Westbrook coexisting and being okay with each other on the same roster, I still have a question about LeBron and Russell Westbrook because LeBron, I think this whole offseason has distanced himself from wanting to play with Russell Westbrook, flirting with Kyrie, not sitting by Russell at Summer League. I know that could be a small thing, but in the end of the day, it's not all that friendly when you have a teammate that you're not sitting with and you're in the same building with. Do you think that's a fair assumption?
Yeah, I don't want to look too deep into that, but I do think that there are challenges with the way that roster fits together, and I think LeBron at this point is probably looking at it and saying, well, you know what, Patrick Beverley's the guy who doesn't need the ball, but he plays defense and he makes jump shots. And I think if you're looking at it, what may be their best function, and I don't know that Russell Westbrook is ready to really accept this, would be start Patrick Beverley and then put Russell Westbrook in a role very similar to the one over the last 4 or 5 years that Derrick Rose has really embraced, which is come off the bench, as a scoring guard. Do your thing, that you've always done. You're just going to do it in 20, 25 minutes a night off the bench versus starting and playing 35, 40 minutes
Makes sense.
a night. And I think if you could get Westbrook to buy into that role, everything fits a lot better for that Lakers team, and everybody slots in the spots that make a lot more sense. Challenge is, when you're a first ballot Hall of Fame guy like Westbrook is, that's a really difficult conversation to have at this point in his career.
Do you think all of the reports, I think I saw one from The Athletic a couple months ago about potentially going into training camp and Russell Westbrook not being active, do you think that that's sort of do you think that is true, false? Do you think there's any legs to that?
I think it's true from the standpoint of it could happen. I don't expect it to happen. What I think will happen with the Lakers is I think you're going to see them get those guys into training camp, probably month and a half of the season. We're going to see, what does it look like with Russ playing, with different lineup constructions, things like that. Can they make this work? And then if we're, let's call it end of November, maybe, middle of December or so, then I think what you're going to see is, all right, this is not working. Then it becomes a conversation of, all right, well, we're still going to try to trade him. But for now, go sit on the bench and we'll deal with this down the line.
Now, I have to give you credit. You were the first person really that brought it to me or Brett's attention about Danny Ainge and what he was planning to do this offseason with that Jazz roster. And it just, it's blown up completely. No Donovan Mitchell, no Rudy Gobert. And he got some good returns. We know what he does. Gets a lot of picks, got some decent talent in return. Do you think that he's done, or are there a lot more things he could do this offseason?
No, I think there's some more stuff coming. I can tell you, I know they're still actively talking trades for Bojan Bogdanovic, Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Rudy Gay, Malik Beasley. Basically, if you're a veteran on that roster, I hope you're renting versus owning in Utah, because there's a good chance you're going to be on the move here in at any point in time now. Now, a couple of those guys are a little harder to trade. Conley, for example, makes a little bit of money. He's got some money into next year. That can be a little bit of a challenge. Clarkson has a guaranteed season, coming up beyond this one. Bogdanovic, though, he's a guy who's pretty plug and play for just about every one of the other 29 teams. Makes a very reasonable number salary wise, and he's an expiring contract, so he's going to be somebody teams are really going to be looking at. So we'll see. I don't think the challenge for the Jazz is you don't want to go into this season with those guys on the roster, because then what may happen in the first couple months of the season while everybody who changed their rosters around and is figuring things out and is coming together, you may win a handful of games you don't really want to win. And you may be sitting in April as the season's winding down saying, man, I wish we hadn't won that game when, Team X was coming in on the back-to-back in, December. Like I said, that's why you want to get these guys moved out. Then you give all the minutes to the kids. Everybody in Utah, fan-wise, that I've talked to, they're all bought in fully. They're all 100% in on, I don't want to see, if you've been in the league more than about 5-6 years, I don't want to see you on the court for us. Let's go, let's get this out. And then, I don't know if you guys caught it, but news broke just a couple of days ago that Victor Wembanyama, who's projected to be one of the number one picks in the draft, measured in barefoot at 7'4".
Wow.
This is on the heels of, highlights of his off-the-dribble scoring game. I think all of a sudden Jazz fans were like, trade everybody.
Yes.
And let's not win a single game, and let's maximize
Spurs fans, too. There's a lot of fans out there that have blown up rosters that they're looking for that at 2-80. There was some rumors, I guess, sort of early in the week about the Grizzlies potentially going after Jordan Clarkson. Does that make sense to you?
It makes sense in the fact that they did not replace what they lost in DeAnthony Melton in kind of any way that stands out that I can say, yeah, that's it. There it is. You replace that.
Right.
That's actually, to me, is one of the sneaky bigger losses that they had. I know the focus seems to be, at least on a national level, on them not having Jaren Jackson Jr. to start, but I don't think enough has been talked about. Kyle Anderson's gone, DeAnthony Melton's gone. Like, those are challenges that you've got to, figure out. And I know the goal is, hey, let's keep kind of turning over the back end of the rotation and, developing guys while they're on these great contracts. But it makes sense from that standpoint. My problem comes in, what is going to be your matches to make that trade work? Because Jordan Clarkson's not a guy you should be giving up a whole lot to go get. And the Grizzlies aren't necessarily sitting on a ton of contracts right now where it is, yeah, that guy's kind of questionable. We'll see. Danny Green would probably be the one who goes.
Right.
Maybe you could get something there, but then the Jazz are going to be pushing for, hey, if we're getting a guy who
First
can't play
round.
at all and doesn't fit, we're going to want a first rounder. And I'm
Yeah.
just not sure that's the move I'd make if I was Memphis.
Where's the right place for Mike Conley to go and really contribute and have a chance to win and maybe get a ring this late in a career?
Yeah, Brett, that's a killer because I don't know. I don't know that there is a place that really jumps out because there's just not a lot of teams that need a point guard right now. Most of the teams that needed one went and got one this offseason. So it really becomes a challenge. What may be best for Mike Conley is kind of go do what he's always done, play pretty good basketball for the Jazz, even if it's going to be on a much, much more limited level. He could be somebody who starts but only plays, 25 minutes a night, and they're just kind of rolling him out there enough that everybody knows, hey, he's healthy and he can play, and then see who has an injury at the point guard spot, who really, we thought this guy was going to work, but he's not really working out for us. And does the market develop that way? Because then that's when you can go, and maybe land in a place where he makes more of an impact. But as you look around the board today, you just kind of, glance up and down these roster sheets, and there's not a team that jumps out as, yeah, that's really it. There's the spot, for him, for anybody, because there's just nobody has that kind of screaming need at the point guard position.
So I've been sort of wondering about this. You look at the Grizzlies and what they've done this offseason, 4 draft picks. They're focusing on internal development. I totally understand because they've been successful at getting that done the past 2 years, 3 years, and they're at where they're at because of that. 56 wins last year. Is there anything that you think they could potentially do before the season? Whether there's somebody out there on the open market, a trade, is there anything that you could see them actually going for?
Yeah, it's funny. The Clarkson rumors are out there, but I would like Bogdanovich for them a lot more than I'd like Clarkson. I know he doesn't necessarily fit that 4 mold, but you could play him at the 4 in certain lineups. That's what Utah's done the last couple of years, and probably be perfectly fine. And then when Jaren Jackson Jr. comes back, either you slide him in as your starting 3, or you move him to the bench, and he's kind of your super sub in that role, in kind of a 6-man scoring type of role where he could help. The challenge again comes into the Jazz aren't going to just take Danny Green. It's going to have to be Danny Green and stuff. He makes just enough more money that you're going to have to work that trade a little bit, but he would make sense. But other than that, I think you're probably best right now. Let's just ride it out. Let's get into training camp. Let's see which one of these kids are ready, who looks like they're ready to step in and play, and give us 25, maybe even up to 30 minutes a night in the beginning part of the season while Jackson is out, and then we'll go from there. I don't think they're the type of team that's going to make any kind of snap move because, we're missing this guy right now. We've got to go do this move today. That just doesn't scream their MO at all to me.
So with Bogdanovich, you mentioned Danny Green. I think you mentioned him as well with Jordan Clarkson in the end of the day. With getting any of those guys from the Jazz, how much do you think – it feels like it's going to be a lot more first-round asking prices, draft capital, than any players on any rosters at this point. Is that correct, or do you think that there's – Danny Ainge would move off of that thought process for the right guy?
Yeah, I think it would have to be something along the lines of, hey, we're going to send you Green as the major contract piece to match salary in the trade, but then we're going to, the value you're going to get, you're going to be one of our picks, or, hey, do you really like one of Jake LaRavia or David Roddy?
Right.
Something like that, because I think that could be, somewhere that they go with one of those kids. We just saw that happen in this trade with the Cavs where Ochai Agbaji is going to Utah after being drafted. We saw Walker Kessler got drafted by Minnesota and then was immediately traded as part of the Rudy Gobert package. So I think that's, if you're Danny Ainge, you're looking for, hey, either want a kid who was just recently drafted in the last couple of years. Now, if I'm the Grizzlies, maybe I listen on LaRavia or Roddy. That's a little tough because you just picked them.
Right.
I certainly would not listen on Zaire Williams.
Traded up in both those situations.
Yep. Yeah, and I would not listen at all on Zaire Williams. I'm very high on him. And I think you would be, if your roster was healthy, you had Jackson, there's an argument to be made to maybe listen on Brandon Clark, because then you also avoid, then we don't have to pay him next year.
Right.
Or extend him this year. and you could look at it and say maybe we could listen there. But that's where it gets a little tough. Is unless you're willing to give up a couple guys you prize pretty highly in the draft to go get, you're probably going to say, all right, I don't know that we can necessarily meet that asking price right now. Maybe your hope is let's get into the season. Let's get into sometime in January, maybe the early part of February before the trade deadline, and maybe some of those guys are still around, and the Jazz have brought down their price to, hey, throw us 2 seconds and a salary match, and off we go.
Mm-hmm. Keith, you nailed it. Also with us, you said there would be no franchise movement. Nobody's leaving where they are now for another town, that there would be expansion because that's how the owners make the big money with the expansion fees. News this week, if it's all but a done deal, back to Seattle with the Supersonics and to Vegas. Everybody, they'll have everything there at that point. After the Oakland A's move there, they'll have all 4 major professional sports in the United States. So with that, we're east of the Mississippi River. We want to be in the Eastern Conference of the NBA. How do you think that breaks down and shakes out? And do you think Memphis would land in the East with Seattle and Vegas emerging in the West?
Yeah, to me, it comes down to it's either Memphis or Minnesota who I would move. I know, it's Memphis and New Orleans are further east than Minnesota. But if you look at where Minnesota is in their division, they're nowhere near anybody else in their division, and they're actually pretty close to Chicago, Milwaukee, those teams that are up there in kind of the northern central part of the country. And then Memphis obviously makes sense. You slide them over, you get them in a division with, maybe Atlanta and, maybe Orlando and Miami, and you figure it out that way. New Orleans, they're still pretty close to Houston and Dallas, and you could keep them where they are. I think it was pretty clear, though, that tweet of, hey, they're going to announce it during these preseason games in Seattle that are coming up at the end of the month, that this is where it's going to be. Maybe that comes to fruition, but that got shouted down pretty loudly by a couple corners. Now, talking to people around the league, everybody expects sometime within the next 3 to 5 years, we will have expansion teams. So that means we could be anytime from now to 3 years from announcement, because it's usually going to be a couple years out before the team comes in and starts playing after they announce it. And everyone that you talk to everywhere expects Seattle 100% is going to get one of those teams, and that the NBA is very focused on getting more Western Conference. And I think what they're looking at with Las Vegas is, as you mentioned, they've already got the Raiders, they've got the Golden Knights. If the A's go there, you run the risk of coming in and you're fourth in line. Now, you don't want to be fourth, especially when you're competing with the Raiders at the beginning part of your season. You're competing with the Knights all year long, and then you're competing with the A's at the tail end of your season. You don't want to be kind of the last team in, and I think that's why the NBA may be really pushing to look there and say, hey, we got to get in there, get this done. And Seattle's a little bit different because that's a market that never should have lost their team in the first place.
Yeah. Now, I will say, with teams that need to move to the Eastern Conference, I think the Grizzlies should get first dibs because Grizzlies fans have made the biggest stink about it over the years. I think Grizzlies fans have gone crazy about trying to get into the Eastern Conference. They want an easier road to the chip, and I get it.
Sure.
And those playoff tip times, Keith, it'd be so much easier.
Yeah,
on
it
us.
would. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, it's now this guy who lives on the East Coast and occasionally struggling to keep his eyes open much past midnight. I don't mind a couple of those 9 and 9:30 playoff tip times, but yeah, I get it, and it's one of those things where when you just look at a map, it makes sense. I have to wonder though if what we're going to see when this comes in, if this is the opportunity. We've clearly got this midseason tournament is coming in some form or fashion in the next couple of years. Then I think what you're going to see is I think the next big thing for the NBA is going to be expansion and then a restructure of the way the entire season looks, not timing-wise. I think they're locked in now. They're going to stay on the schedule they're in. We learned in the bubble that doesn't work to move the NBA too deep into the summertime. But I think you're going to see them relook at, all right, what do conferences, divisions, what do those mean? What do the playoff structures mean? What can this look like? And I think you're going to see some, chances for them to really look at it and say, hey, let's take a major look at this and do some really different stuff with the way we're structured.
He is Keith Smith at Keith Smith NBA on Twitter from Spotrac, Celtics blog, and the Front Office Show with Trevor Lane on YouTube. Keith, always appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
You have a good one, Keith. Now, let me tell you about our second hour sponsor. That's our good friends at the Big Green Egg. And I always talk about your best ability being your availability, whether that's in sports or in grilling. And Big Green Egg's the last grill you'll have to buy. Most folks have had it 20 to 30 plus years, have never had an issue with it. It's twofold. There's two reasons that is the case. Highest quality ceramic on the market, so it's not going to rust. You're going to have no issues with that. Also, they've had a warranty on all those ceramic parts since 1995. Yes, since 1995. So if you have an issue with one of those parts, one goes malfunct, one breaks, send it in to them. They send you back one free of charge. You get it attached. You get it rolling. 100% natural lump wood charcoal grill, so the flavor is going to be great, superior to that of a gas grill. And you can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, barbecue. You can smoke a butt out there. You can throw some ribs on there, put some burgers down. You can do whatever you want, and it really is barbecue season. Take advantage of it during the football season, during this fantastic run we're going to have of football all the way through February. I know people will take advantage of that. 7 different sizes, so they really do have a size and a price point for everyone. And you can find it at these retailers around the area: Garden Spas and Pool, Germantown Hardware, Hamilton's Fireplace and Grills, and both of the Aces in town, East Memphis Ace and Cordova Ace Hardware. So if you're looking for a do-it-all, reliable, long-lasting grill at a great price point, look no further than our good friends at the Big Green Egg. Let's go ahead and get to a break, and we have some NFL football to talk about when we come back.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for a cigar lounge to call your own? One that offers a laid-back environment with a full bar, comfortable seats to kick back in and enjoy a beer or a cocktail, and a cigar. The G-Spot, Memphis's premier cigar lounge, is just for you. Offered a wide selection of cigars, and it's open 7 days a week, starting at 12 noon for your smoking pleasure. G-Spot Cigar Lounge is now offering a limited number of memberships that provide a locker and a humidor credit. For more information, call the G-Spot Cigar Lounge, 901-801-4276.
Attention sports fans, your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you with the tables. You need a sportsbook with integrity, longevity, and you need to know you're gonna get paid. You need a sportsbook that offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, and all kinds of crazy bets. Call today at 1-800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US, and they will walk you through setting up an account. Nobody in the industry gives better bonuses than BetUS. Join now. Mention BetUS 2022, and you can get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Nobody beats that. Head to BetUS.com and join today. That's BetUS, where the game begins.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
I love how Memphis loves golf, even city government. Overton Park is getting redone. Pine Hill is being completely renovated, and Fox Meadows is getting new greens. Public golf has never been better. There's a new app for your phone, Memphis Public Links, where you can make tee times, view special offers, get tournament information, find out the latest golf news, and virtually stay in touch. You can download it at the Apple App Store. There are several new golf tournaments this year, including the Mayor's Cup, and there will be a Player of the Year based on performances throughout the season. You can't beat Memphis golf. Galloway is in perfect shape. Audubon, right in the heart of the Poplar Corridor, is a true test of golf for any level of player. The city has invested in public golf like never before. So, if you haven't played a city course in a while, try it. I assure you, you're gonna love it. Memphis Public Links.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car.
How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TAXI for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TAXI for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TAXI.
You don't think about a lawyer until something goes wrong. When that happens, let attorney Stephen Leffler fight for you and your family. You don't leave the house in the morning expecting an accident, but it happens every day. A car wreck, you slip and fall, or you get accused of a crime and find yourself fighting for your reputation. Stephen Leffler has been fighting for you for over 35 years. Don't do it alone. Let Stephen Leffler fight your battles for you. Call Stephen Leffler, 901-527-8830, or go to LefflerLaw.com. Here to fight for you and your loved ones.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Oh, nothing but the best.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
You're back with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe, he's Stats. Brian Diggs, of course, producing the program. Did you guys see new iPhone coming out? iPhone 14 Pro,
and
iPhone
Apple Watch
14 Pro Max. New Apple Watch. Is it any different?
No, the Apple Watch has not changed at all.
So the only difference I see in this model of the iPhone 14 is it looks like the notch at the top of the phone is gone.
But that's only on the Pro model. The 14 looks exactly the same. The Pro is the one that changed, and I think it looks beautiful. I cannot wait to go buy one.
How do you know what generation phone you have?
Go to your settings. Let's see.
Does it show up on settings?
I'm pretty sure if you go to your settings somewhere, you can find it. General, maybe. About. Yeah, you can find it there. Yep.
All right, I'm there. About.
I actually never mind. I'm kind of because software version. I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, iOS 16 is about to come out.
Okay, I have an 11. I have an 11.
Where do you see it?
I have an 8.
Model name.
You have an 8?
Wow.
Nice. Model name iPhone 8 Plus.
Brian and I's response.
How about that?
I get. You've taken good care of it. Nice job. Well done.
Makes a call. And
well,
gets
I'll
a call.
say this soon enough because didn't Apple get in trouble for putting bugs in your phone so you'd update? Yeah. And they changed the chargers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of conspiracy out there. I need y'all's help with an email I got today
Brett,
from my old friends at AT&T.
Brett, I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think it's legit. That actually happened. They had to pay
out
money because there were bugs. There were bugs they were putting in there.
I get this email from DirecTV, vis-a-vis AT&T. It said 1209. Great news, Brett. Like they know me. Great news, Brett. Your no-cost subscription has been added for 2022 NFL Sunday ticket.
Okay.
Does that mean I get all year free or just Sunday?
I think it's just the Sunday.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, it says make the most of your perfect Sundays. It doesn't say Sunday.
Oh, got him on the grammar.
Yeah, show him on the. You think you could get away with that fine print? You guys said Sundays.
That's multiple. It's just one.
Right. I think it's just the opening weekend though, Brett. I hate to break it.
I knew I got that though, but I mean they personalize it so like they knew me. Great news, Brett.
We're Sunday.
Thank you, DirecTV.
We are about to have.
Glad we're on first name basis too.
I'm losing my mind. What's the show where they
Red
Zone? Yeah,
love Red Zone.
We are
Andrew Siciliano.
Very close.
Yeah,
we are. Close
Saw him
to
at
Red
the Masters.
Zone.
I could dunk on him. He's about 5'2".
Did you thank him for his hard work?
Yeah, I do like his work.
Yeah.
I do a lot. I just said hi.
He doesn't look that short. I mean, he doesn't look that small on TV.
Itty bitty.
Well, they're not gonna make him look short on TV.
So I was having this conversation with a couple of my buddies the other day. I think I'm the tallest guy in Memphis sports media. Do you think we're close? I'm close, right?
You're up there.
I don't think there's any doubt, especially with Hank McDowell kind of in senior status.
And Kari Thompson is off in Jackson.
When John Albright does games, for the Tigers on ESPN.
Okay. We're diving deep into the bag, I see.
We are.
Surface level, I think you're definitely the tallest.
I would say stood next to John. How tall is John?
I would say John's 6'2", 6'3".
Oh, see, I'm a good 6'4", easy 6'4", 6'5" program height.
Yeah. Oh. I would say the combination of youngest and tallest, no doubt.
Okay. Yeah.
Because John's a little bit older than me. John can take that too.
But no, I'm definitely tallest in Memphis sports media.
Yeah.
We have some short guys in Memphis sports media. Brett looked at me. Did you see that look he gave me? Yeah, I love it.
We have a lot of guys that play 2 plays of high school football.
That's
hey,
something.
Come on. You can't just say 2 plays. What were the plays?
Offside on one, 12th man on the field on the other one.
Hopefully we don't have as many mistakes tonight in the NFL game. Bills at Rams tonight. Bills minus the 2.5 on the road. First of 272 games in the regular season. Big report today from Adam Schefter is about Matt Stafford undergoing elbow surgery this offseason.
How does that happen? How does a league so covered, so scrutinized, so many reports, so many insider deals, so many Schefty tweets, how does that go the whole offseason? We don't know it.
We knew about his elbow. We didn't know about the surgery. And I would imagine it was just a scope of some sort. They're just cleaning out cartilage, doing all that stuff. Because if it was a genuine, hardcore rearranging parts of the elbow, we should have known about this a long time ago. I would imagine it was less invasive. But at the same time, I agree with you. But Adam Schefter, I thought it was weird. The second part of his report was, he says he feels better than this time last year. What is that supposed to mean to us? Like, absolutely nothing to me. He's going to say that. We're going into a season where he has to be the guy. If the Rams don't have him as the starting quarterback, they're not going to be even close to a Super Bowl team. John Wolford is not going to will them into the playoffs and into the Super Bowl.
But a little like the college saying, what backup could? What backup could carry it? Maybe Jimmy G, maybe?
Yes. You sort of wonder what – so Teddy Bridgewater's with the Dolphins, correct? I believe. I'm correct on that. Yeah, maybe that team with that roster and what they have. But no, they have to prove they can do it just generally speaking. But I don't know how far I guess like what I'm saying is, okay, maybe not playoffs, but who falls off? What would be the big fall off from starter to or what
Arizona?
What wouldn't be that big of a fall off from starter to backup? Teddy B probably wouldn't be that big of a fall off.
Okay, under that, yeah.
Jets, Zach Wilson to Joe Flacco, probably not that big of a fall off. But Rams, massive fall off. Now, but again, I think Matt Stafford, like that, of course he's going to say he feels better going into the season than he did a year ago. But what are the big points of contention? What are you watching really closely tonight? Because I know a lot of us picked the Bills to be the representative of the AFC, even win the Super Bowl.
Who can block Aaron Donald?
Mm-hmm.
And Gabe, how he turns it on like the old great feed it to him tailbacks, the Earl Campbell, the Bo Jacksons, the Herschel Walkers, the Mike Roziers. Those guys, they were so much better on that 35th carry than on the 15th. He's so much better with 6 minutes to play than he is in the first 6 minutes. He's got it yo-yoing late in the game. When those guys going backwards all night, they're almost dead. You know that feeling.
Yes, I am ready to see though. Can the Bills capture something running the ball with a running back, not just with Josh Allen? Because
running back, traditional running back.
Every time he gets hit, you take downs or games off of his career, and I hate that because he's one of the best talents we've seen ever. Right? I mean, he's that good. He's that type of guy. He's an MVP caliber player. And I want to see, they pick James Cook. They go get Roger Saffold, one of the best run-blocking, zone-blocking guards in the league from the Titans. Titans are going to miss him this year, by the way. They're going to miss him pretty severely. But you go get him. Can you improve upon what you did a year ago? Because I think that's their biggest missing piece. They were a top-5 defense. They were a top-5 offense. But even being a top-5 offense, the one thing that kept jumping off the page last year, they had no running game. And Devin Singletary, I think, is a fine back, but at the same time, he's 5'8", 195 pounds. He's not all that scary.
And
Can
NFL
someone
more
else
so
emerge?
than college. It's not necessarily rushing yards. That statistic does not skew to the winner like it used to, but attempts, staying with it and taking some pressure off of Josh Allen to have to make magic.
I've said this a million times when it comes to analytics, and I think a lot of people think you can use a short pass game as a extension of the run game, and some people do that, and that's fine. And some people think, analytics people think the run game means nothing in today's NFL and today's version of football. But bearing down on someone for 4 quarters means something. I promise you, from a psyche standpoint, from being out there, it means something. People get discouraged if you bear down on them and make them uncomfortable for 4 quarters.
Yeah,
they wear down.
And third down conversions for a defense. I mean, that's methane gas running under the door. It kills you and you don't even know.
And also, you have to think about some of these defensive backs. If you keep running the ball, they have to keep coming up and run support. They get worn down. They get hit. They get tired.
That shoulder gets tender.
So, I get frustrated with the – I feel like there's been the past – probably about
a
5.
war on rushing.
There really is. Past 5 years, it feels like there's been a war on the run game and running backs too. Running backs are just killed. Their value is
and Gabe, I'm
dying.
with you. And that
if
said,
not dead already.
I feel ever so slightly a little more importance of the run game has been emerging. It would almost be imperceptible on a trend line, but I think it has slightly gone up the importance of a run game, and I think it's a little bit trickling down to college.
Yes, but again, a lot of teams that win championships have at least a discernible run game and a good offensive line, good trenches.
That you can at least fake it a little bit with the run game. Take a little of that heat off that big-time quarterback.
Yeah. And on the defensive side of the ball for the Bills, the one thing I have to pay attention to, because I think they're going to be a good group. I think they're the best safety, one of the best safety duos in Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde in the league. Draft Kyer Elam. Matt Milano's been a really good addition for them as a linebacker. I got to see what Von Miller can do. I mean, we're getting up there in age with him. He just got a massive
contract. And how many
contract.
games he can do it in.
Yeah, exactly. How is he going to be able to produce game 1 like he produces in the playoffs? Because I thought he woke up last year for the Rams in the playoffs.
Oh, he did.
And looked good.
Super Bowl MVP, a Super Bowl 50.
Regular season, not much from him last year. But once he got in the playoffs, he started to turn it up a little bit.
I don't know that I want a big fight over it. How in the world was Aaron? I rewatched Super Bowl 56 the other morning. Mm-hmm. How was Aaron Donald not MVP? I know Cooper Kupp was good, and I know we're in an offensive era.
He's a defensive player.
He's a defensive player.
And, honestly, with Aaron Donald, you can almost give him that distinction before the game. Because, when you go into a meeting and go into film, what are you scheming against? You're scheming against that guy, that number 99 guy right there that's just wrecking everything on film. You have to go into a game with a completely different game plan based on him specifically. And that makes people lose games depending on how they're trying to scheme around him. They can't scheme normally.
On the last play that Joe Burrow, desperate heave, and it was slung down by Aaron Donald, the Rams announcer said, thrown down by Aaron Donald, that was seal Super Bowl 56, the play made by the greatest defensive player ever.
Ooh, that's close. It's close.
When I heard it, I went, no, what? What maybe?
Yeah, immediately. Yeah, it's the Alonzo Mourning gif where he's sitting. Have you guys seen that one?
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, you got a point there.
Yeah. He's shaking his head no way at first, and he goes, actually, maybe you got a point. I still think Lawrence Taylor should be considered up there. He was unbelievable in his day. Reggie White, come on. Reggie White, Bruce Smith.
Shooting star, Sean Taylor for Washington.
I wish we could have seen more. I wish we could have seen more.
Another one, Derek Thomas.
Yeah. Now, I think the 3 I'd put there at the top are Reggie White.
You said Bruce Smith.
I think Bruce Smith too, but honestly, and maybe I'll add Bruce Smith because he is the leader in sacks all time. I think that's fair. Bruce Smith, Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor, Aaron Donald are, in my opinion, sort of that class of their own. And Deion, yes, completely different thought process there though.
Shut down the whole side.
He did, and he was a playmaker too. Return game, picks.
a package or two on offense, not much, but throw him in that slot and just scare everybody to death.
All right.
It'd be a timeout every time he'd come in on offense.
All right, now Bills -2.5 on the road. Let's make picks. Brett, you start.
Bills 35-31.
Okay, right.
I'm going to go Bills. People are forgetting. This is a 5 o'clock game in L.A. They already can't get people in the stands. Certainly won't at rush hour.
Point.
Okay,
that's a great point.
I got Bills -2.5. I'm going to go 27-17. That's my score for tonight.
Group lock on a Thursday.
Well, also, I think they're kind of there's a narrative being created about the Rams that, okay, they won their Super Bowl. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's all gravy from here. And that they're not really ready to go. I sort of buy into it. I was going to say I'm kind of there with them. Also today, the Rams tweet out officially that Les Snead and Sean McVay have been extended through 2026. Well earned, but also I think Les Snead took a dive when he was in St. Louis. So I'll always hold that against him. Just going to be honest with you, because they want to go and sign everybody and pick up big free agents, make big trades. When they get out of St. Louis, hey, you guys know I'm going to always bring this up, right? You're never going to outrun it. There's never going to be a year where we talk about the Rams being good without me bringing up the St. Louis Rams. Sorry. Just can't do it. Let's go ahead and get to a break. We'll come back next and wrap up hour number 2.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Golfers, tee it up this fall at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for big savings. Save up to $150 off on Ping G425 woods. Upgrade your gear with discounted Wilson stand and cart golf bags. And stock up on TaylorMade Distance Plus golf balls. Now 2 dozen for $35. Don't miss these items and more happening now at Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get a free custom fitting today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, or shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
The NFL season's almost here. Kick off week 1 with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today to get started with $150 in free bets. Guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Sign up with promo code WIN to get in on the action. Then you turn your game day into payday all season long. I'd love to throw $150 in free bets on the Niners to win the NFC. Play your way. Bet on more than just the final score. Wager on everything. Touchdowns, total yards, catches. You could even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets. Win or lose with promo code WIN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus in select states. Must be present in states where betting is legal. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable. Free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut, 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Indiana, 1-877-770-STOP. Louisiana, 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. New York, Tennessee, Redline, 1-800-889-9789. Tennessee, 1-800-522-4700. Wyoming or visit www.1-800-GAMBLER.net. West Virginia.
Rich Eisen here from Westwood One.
The 2022 NFL season is finally here, and we kick things off with the Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams hosting Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Cooper Kupp joins me in the pregame show. Then Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner will have all the action. And you can now stream the game live for free, sponsored by AutoZone. Join us for the Bills at the Rams on opening night.
Right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Grainger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions. Plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
O'Reilly Auto Parts provides more than just the right parts for your repair. Our professional parts people can also offer free check engine light diagnosis. We can scan your vehicle and provide a list of possible fixes. Find the right parts for you or recommend a great local repair shop. Don't ignore your check engine light. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Dad, come on, you're going to fall in the barbecue.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Back rolling with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe, he's Stats. So as we approach week one, NFL week one, there's going to be some designations made. I just saw Eric McCoy, the center for the Saints, just got a massive deal, 5 years, $63.75 million. And he's done a really good job out of Texas A&M, play center for them. But he just broke the bank with that deal, no question. Also, we're getting some injury designations. Miles Sanders, who's had a hamstring issue for the Eagles all offseason, says he's ready to go for week one versus the Lions. And this brought to my attention, and I got to thinking right after I saw this designation, Brent. And I'll ask you this, and I'll give you my thoughts in a second. How good, and I understand what most people think, Jalen Hurts at the top is going to make them go if they're going to go. How good do you think the Eagles can be this year?
It starts with him. We were talking, I think, during a break yesterday, and I said I think I have slept on the Eagles' overall roster and how talented it is. I think it's plenty at running back. And then A.J., Devontae Smith, and Goddard tight end. That can get the ball down the field, and that young defense that's swarming. I mean, those guys could be locked down on that side.
And the other thing that I like, you bring up young guys, and Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Quez Watkins on the offensive side of the ball. They brought in Landon Dickerson out of Alabama to play left guard a couple years ago. They have some young guys.
Kenneth Gainwell.
But they've also mixed in a decent amount of veteran talent. Lane Johnson is still around. Jason Kelsey at center is still around. Brandon Graham has been around for, it's got to be going on 10 years. Fletcher Cox. They have a bunch of dudes, and they've done a good job of bolstering, because their big issue last year, I think, in a lot of ways, was their secondary. They had some issues at times with depth. It was simply depth, because I think their front line was pretty good. But they go get James Bradbury. They go get C.J. Gardner-Johnson last week. Darius Slay is one of the best underrated corners in the league. This roster is so win now it's not funny. If you put a guy, I don't know, like Derek Carr at quarterback for this team, I think a lot of people would have them maybe Matt Ryan, first, second, third shortest odds to win the Super Bowl this year. I truly believe that, because probably a top 3 O-line, wide receiver group probably top 7, 8, defense top 10. They have everything you potentially need, but it's about Jalen Hurts. And I am one with Jalen Hurts that I have grown to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I say that because every single time we have doubted him through college, even in the NFL, through college, in the NFL, every single time he delivers. National championship winner, in the Heisman race, put himself at Oklahoma State. We said he couldn't throw the ball. Guess what he did at Oklahoma? Slung it around the yard. We said in the NFL, oh, no, he probably won't be a starter. He'll be stuck behind for a while. Guess what? He's a starter, and they're trying to give him the keys. We said last year Gardner Minshew's probably the better quarterback. Gardner Minshew never took that spot. So, and he's the type of guy also, and I know this is sort of a sidebar, you see him after games, after practices, under a squat bar, squatting 500 pounds. He's a guy who, through all of that stuff, through all of the doubt, seems to work. So I give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't believe yet that he's a guy that's going to get this Eagles team over the hump and make a run in the playoffs. I just can't believe that.
And this is the team. This is the assemblage of the roster that was really going to be set for years for Carson Wentz. Yep. And now Carson Wentz will start 3 straight opening days for 3 different teams. Eagles, Washington, Colts.
And you know my thought on Carson Wentz. I don't think he's an awesome quarterback. I think ever since the ACL got torn against the Rams in that Super Bowl year for the Eagles, he hadn't been the same. But also I do think we do way too much in highlighting his bad plays versus highlighting his good plays. He has good plays. He plays good football sometimes, but we highlight just the worst parts of his game. The picks, him losing to the Jags when it just took 1 win to get into the playoffs last year with the Colts. We highlight all that stuff with him. And I think I'm not going to say we treat him unfairly, but we certainly put him in a bad light every time we get a chance. It feels like as a whole with the sports media.
No, so it's 3 straight teams, right? Eagles, Colts, Washington.
Yes, straight in a row.
Yeah,
correct.
Okay.
Yes. Get designated to Washington. That's a rough life. That ain't fun. Commander's going to do anything.
I think a big breakout year for Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think there's potential.
I think by the end of the year, he'll be the best quarterback in that division.
Do you think the Commanders can at least be a thorn in the side of anyone in the NFC East? Do you think that they could just do that?
I can't go there after last year and how how they always have something.
Why did we fall into that trap last year, Brett? Why did we do that?
I don't know.
You think big breakout year for Trevor Lawrence?
I do.
Now, the next question that comes with that is, okay, big breakout year. What does that mean in wins for the Jags?
6.
Okay.
And 3,500.
That's fair. I like that.
6, 3,500, 22, and 9.
That's very realistic.
Touchdowns, interceptions.
I can dig that. I mean, he's got more talent on the outside. Travis Etienne's back. He's got good backs, too.
Look the part. Be a leader.
Yeah, just do that. Still, that team's got so many holes, though. They're so far from actually being in a chance to win. They're not a winning football team right this second. And they're probably 2-3 off seasons from really being that type of team. And I still can't believe we're not that far removed when Blake Bortles got them to the AFC Championship.
Should have won.
That wasn't that long ago. My gosh. Now, listen, we're approaching the weekend, and if you know me, you know I'll never steer you wrong when it comes to a good meal, and that won't change. That's why I'm steering you in the direction of 117 Prime. It sits on 117 Union Avenue very conveniently, and is a prime example, no pun intended, of what an American steakhouse should be. Absolutely perfect steaks cooked to your liking over hickory wood for the best flavor in town. Also, don't miss out on the seafood. Oysters, clams, shrimp, lobster, you name it, they have it. On top of that, the cocktails and desserts are some of the best in town. Opens at 4 p.m. every day, and they'd love to have you by. To make reservations, go to 117prime.com or call this number, 901-433-9851. Again, 117prime.com or 901-433-9851. Get over to 117 Prime. Hour 3's on the way. We started talking to little Tigers with our man from Sports 56 Mornings and from the Tiger sideline, Greg Gasson.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars,
Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
It's football time in Memphis, and if you or someone you know is thinking of selling their home, it sure better be home selling time in Memphis. And just like you may have a favorite team, favorite coach, or favorite players, you may not have a favorite real estate agent. If you don't, think about drafting me, Sheldon Rosengarten, with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. I always tell people they need to talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers to find out who will be the best quarterback of their home selling team. Have you heard people say that when you want the job done, call Shell Done? Find out why my award-winning, highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option can mean the difference in whether you sit or sell. Also find out how to take advantage of our worldwide relocation network. Call or email me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Sheldon Rosengarten at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now and go Tigers.
This is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. It's been a particularly rainy season, and that stain on your ceiling isn't getting any smaller, exposing your family to the possibility of mold. Let me come take a look. 867-0303. Our technicians are Owens Corning Platinum Preferred, so don't let someone tell you that it has to be replaced if all you need is a repair to get several more years of life. 867-0303. Have me on your speed dial for when life's little catastrophes come up. 867-0303. Upgrade your roof to a beautiful Owens Corning Duration Architectural Shingle with a 50-year warranty and an unheard of 25-year labor guarantee. I'll measure your roof from outer space and give you a competitive estimate right over the phone. Buy now and pay nothing till 2022 with approved credit. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time. on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
This is a damn fine automobile, if you want my honest opinion.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Back rolling. Third hour's here. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe. He's Stats. And joining us via the phone line is Greg Gaston. It's from Sports 56 Mornings with Eli Savoy. And from the Tiger Sideline, he's brought to you by the law office of Stephen Leffler, Mount Moriah Auto Sales, Neil's Bar and Grill, Chet Whitsett, Cry Like Realtors. Greg, I know that you had to talk about it this morning, and I know that it's a tough day, but I just ask, how are you?
I'm doing better, but it still hurts. It hurts all of us. It was just so horrible last night, and we've had horrible episodes over the years, and of course earlier this week we had a horrible episode. But it just got to me, Gabe. Yeah. After it just all added up, and I had to just get it out this morning. And I'm just tired of talk. I'm tired of hey, we got to pull together as a city. Sure, we do. And what answers do we have for people that are in those situations? And of course, I don't want to make it like everybody who's downtrodden and poor is bad, because they're not. 99% of them are good people, right? They're hard workers, and they do everything they can to provide for their families. It's just a couple of really, really, really bad eggs that ruin it for everybody. And that one guy just took the city as a hostage for the entire 6-hour ordeal.
A million people.
Yeah.
I know.
Greg, I failed to do so earlier, and I want to do this, and I think we're all in unison. I know we are. I want to give credit to MPD. Yep. In a bad week, they've had outstanding work, and I want them appreciated. Yep. And when we have a misstep in law enforcement, when we have one of them do something untoward, I want the fullest extent of the law applied to them. But by and large, they still are the good guy, and they need to be funded, not defunded.
You said it perfectly. I tweeted it out last night. I talked about it this morning. The men and women in blue serving our community, serving all communities around this great country of ours, and putting their life on the line often. Last night they certainly did. And yes, again, bad eggs. Everybody, to a certain extent, probably has a bad egg or two, and I hate it. You're right. You have to throw those guys or gals in jail because they're not above the law, even though they are the law, right? They are the bad people, but for the most part, they're the good people. They protect us. And, yeah, I laugh when I hear about defund. I mean, I laughed when it first came out. It's ridiculous. Put more money into it. We need more of them out there because they are protecting us.
Yeah, and I just can't get over the fact we really as in a million people in this city, thereabouts, and just not feeling safe wherever you're at. Like, that's just the thing that gets me. You can't go to a gas pump. You can't.
Even into DeSoto County
and also,
night.
Like,
and rumors of West Memphis. And
these things tend to go away, but there needs to be real substantive solutions. And it's frustrating for me. Last night was not okay. And you also, and I know it's a different type of situation, but you have a wife that is in the medical field, and my girlfriend had to deal with some of those victims during the Kroger shooting in Collierville, and it just brings back terrible memories seeing things like this constantly. And I hope we can move in a direction, and I hope also for you look at the national media and nationally how the city of Memphis is going to be viewed. I just hope that. Yes, I think some people, based on these bad headlines, will define the city of Memphis that way. But we know what Memphis is about, and we know that this is something that we can't let these type of things define this actual city.
Greg, another area, and you have a long history in this. Mm-hmm. I thought last night, exemplary across the board, all the local TV stations with their coverage, keeping us mesmerized to it, because I'm getting calls and texts from friends of what's going on, where are you, and I know everybody last night had that feeling. Last night, 3, 5, 13, 24, 30. Exemplary work for those men and women out in the field trying to deliver, just a horror show night of news to us.
Absolutely. First thing you do, you check to make sure that all your family members are accounted for. Are they all inside? Or where are they? If they're not here, let me know. Talk to them. Make sure they're all okay. Then it's watch television. Watch any of those stations. They all did diligent work. They all worked their tails off. I've been in that newsroom for 27 years, and even though I was a sports guy, when things would break down, there would be a huge story locally that would take away sports and weather and just focus on that news. I watched those people. I watched how hard they were. And last night I watched those anchors, and I listened to those anchors, and I watched those reporters, and I listened to those reporters. There's so much erroneous information that comes in now with social media. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. You have to decipher that. You have to check and double check with your sources so you don't look like a moron on the air. And those folks, those men and women did an outstanding job last night.
And out in the field, putting themselves in a precarious situation too. I thought they did a fantastic job.
Right, Gabe. Those reporters on the scene. Who's to say that and a lot of times with this, you don't know if it's a single person. It ended up being one, but what if some others maybe with them, they pull up and start taking fire on the news people.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't know.
And the police officers.
You don't know. And you don't know, God forbid, copycats out there. We've always heard that with crimes. Is there a copycat person out there that wants to keep this thing going? And they're out there, and they're reporting to give you the utmost information, the accurate information. And, they're certainly in the line of fire often. Last night, luckily, it wasn't the case. But, boy, they did a yeoman's job.
Yeah, no question. Now, on to easier things to talk about.
Yes.
Although I'm not even going to act like Tigers and Navy, based on what we saw from the Tigers, not all that easy to talk about. I thought their effort against Mississippi State in the first half was a struggle, no question. I thought they fought, though. There's no question about that. Also, I thought they at least tried to do some things in that second half where they could have gotten the field position and just gave up. But this sets up a Navy game that I personally, you shouldn't think of it as scary, although it is a Navy team. But I think they need to win, and I think Greg, just to prove it to themselves, to get the confidence back, I think they need to win convincingly like they did last year.
Yeah, I think I would go a little bit harsher than it was a struggle at Mississippi State. It was
one of the worst halves of football I've seen.
It was one of the worst halves I've seen in a long time, and Coach knows it, and those coaches on the staff know it, and those players know it, from drop passes to missed tackles to missed assignments. But you're right. In the second half, they showed signs of life, which was nice to see. It's not a bad thing. It's not the end of the world to lose at Mississippi State when you're a double-digit underdog, but to play the way they did, they have to bounce back. But now they have to not only play well, they have to win a football game. And guys, I think they will win this football game. I think they're a better team overall than Navy, but don't think because Navy lost that game to Delaware when they fumbled 3 times, which is very uncharacteristic, that they can't beat you. If you get too aggressive on defense, get out of your lanes, blow your assignments, they will make you pay. You went up against Navy, Gabe. You know what it's all about. Mm-hmm. But I think overall, look, Keenan Reynolds is walking through that door. I think their quarterback is good. He's not great. He's not Malcolm Perry. So I think Navy goes as far as their quarterback will take it. The guy's a good, solid quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. Memphis will try to utilize its speed, get outside, get into situations where it's mano-a-mano, and I think the speed standpoint will give them a big advantage. I think Memphis wins. I think they win convincingly. I don't even want to think what happens if they don't.
Yeah,
I don't either, Greg. And it's an obvious kind of pregame take, kind of a duh take when people say this, but it is so much easier to play from ahead, to play downhill. It's the ultimate game against Navy, because if you kind of get rope-a-doped into their game, if you get kind of hypnotized into their game and you have a bunch of 3-and-outs and then they go on that 9-play, 6-minute drive, it just limits your number at bats.
It limits your number at bats. It also frustrates you. You're on the sideline, the offense going, when are we going to get the darn ball back?
And, by the way, retweet. I've been in a lot of games with Navy like that. My gosh.
Yes, and it's bleeding to death by paper cuts. because they just little 6 yards here, 5 yards, another first down. Here's 4 yards, here's 7, here's another first down. And then all of a sudden they catch you with a pass every once in a while. And you can't catch them from behind. If you go into the fourth quarter down against Ken Niumatalolo's teams, he beats you. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it's really gaudy. It's something like 40-4. He just doesn't lose when they have the lead. It is important for Memphis to get the lead early, hold on to that lead, and have them try to play from behind because they don't have the offense to really be able to
just not built for
strike for points, right?
And I know you and Eli got to talk to Ken Niumatalolo today. And what was the sense that you got about how he feels about his program, his team going into this year? It's been a quick fall from grace, and I think also people at Navy that follow that football program are concerned about what it's going to be like in the new age of college football, them trying to keep up.
Yeah, I think he's a little frustrated. I'll be honest with you. He was frustrated with what happened in the opener, certainly with his offense. As I mentioned just a moment ago, uncharacteristic to put 3 on the ground. They had 7 total fumbles last year. But certainly after last year, and correct me if I'm wrong, they beat Army, right, last year?
They did, yeah, upset.
I think they beat Army. So,
we lose Greg.
In Annapolis, when you beat Army. You got me?
Yeah, we got you. It was okay. Real quick. You cut out for a second.
Okay, so you don't lose face when you beat during the season in the American Conference, right? And I asked him, I said, point blank, what's more important, win an American Conference championship or beat Army? Actually, I didn't. I asked that to their play-by-play guy, Pete Medhurst, and he said, "Are you kidding me? We got to beat Army. That's the most important."
It's everything.
So,
it's everything.
But even with that said, I think they were frustrated last year that they weren't able to play up to expectations. So certainly the expectations were higher going into the season, and to start off the way they did, with the offense struggling, is not good.
Mm-hmm.
The defense was pretty good. They did a good job in stymieing Delaware's rushing attack. But again, that's a good FCS team. Memphis has big boys. They got guys that should be able to run the ball well. They're hoping for the bounce back from last year's rushing attack. And so I do like Memphis. But for Navy, the long-range answer, I don't know. I think another bad year this year, and maybe Ken Niumatalolo leaves. I don't know if he's gotten to the point where they don't fire him because he's been there so long and he's had so much success. But I think there could be some type of change, a changing of the guard, if you will, if they struggle again this season.
And you can hear from all of us and everybody that talks about Navy football, and not just because of the patriotic fervor and what they do after football, but what they built, what they've accomplished. And we like their coach and we like their program when all of us have the pronunciation of Niumatalolo down.
He's been there long enough.
He's earned it, hasn't he, Greg?
He absolutely has earned it. A lot of those coaches that have been around forever, they're and especially Ken Niumatalolo, being a services academy, being a whole different atmosphere. Certainly they care. Don't get me wrong. They care about college football. They care a lot about college football, and Ken's the coach. But they also care about making these young men better men and men that will lead the country. And so there's a lot more at stake for them than just a football game. But don't get me wrong. They don't want to start 0-2. Both these teams can't afford to start 0-2. That's how important this game is. And Memphis finally got off the schneid 2 seasons ago, winning in Annapolis for the first time. It's not like they've played there a million times, but they finally got their first win in Annapolis. They won again last year. They won 3 straight. I don't see why Memphis doesn't make it 4 in a row.
And Greg, I'm envious for the official party and for the Tiger football team and for Tiger fans to be in that setting with this important of a game. And on Sunday, September 11th, I mean, it really, even 21 years later, it really hits home there for those youngsters and their commitment for our country.
Boy, that's a great. Even think about that this weekend, and you're right. Interesting. It's always great to be around the pomp and circumstance of a Navy game. I've been fortunate enough to go to West Point as well with Army and see what goes on with that. And even when they're on the road, we know that everything that goes along with it. It's kind of It's just it's a different atmosphere. But boy, 9/11 hovering. You're absolutely right. It's so celebrating everybody who who did everything they could on that day that we will never forget.
No question about it. Yeah, I absolutely, and it's funny for me. Like I look at Navy, Army, and I had a buddy who went to Army who was a captain at Army that I went to high school with, and like you look at guys that go to D1 schools that don't have to deal with everything off the field that those guys have to deal with. That's their getaway. Going to practice.
3 o'clock gets easy.
Yeah, going to practice. That's the easy part for guys that go to Alabama, for guys that go to Memphis, for guys that go to ULM. Just name it around the country that don't have to deal with all that off the field stuff. It's tough. Like sometimes you dread practices. Sometimes that is the case. They don't dread it at all. That's their getaway, and that's just a different mindset to have about the game of football. But just had to throw that in there because talking to my buddy John Voight, I'll throw his name out there, captain at Army. He used to talk way worse about all the stuff off of the field. And the field is where they got to just chill out almost, which is crazy to think about. Now, for the Tigers, defensive game plan. Different DC. Mike McIntyre the last 2 years showed, hey, this is the way. This is how you get it done against a Ken coach team, a Coach Ken coach team. Wow, that's a mouthful. But do you think how much do you think that Matt Barnes is going to look into that film and try to sort of recreate what Mike McIntyre put out there?
Well, he'll definitely look at it. He has definitely looked at it, and they've also had sessions during the summer about Navy. As you know, you guys always will, if you have Navy on the schedule, take some time to get ready for Navy before the week of the game when obviously all your concentration's on that game. So you start to prepare early when you play a triple option offense. Defensively last week was very...
Greg, we got you in and out. Greg, we got you in and out. See if we...
Can you hear me now?
We got you now, yeah. Well, but we're going in and out. You can continue, though. I apologize.
Okay, no, my fault. Today, unfortunately, guys, I've been on location, so I'm
coming
to you from a place where there's a lot of woods out here, so I'm doing the best I can. Hopefully, it sounds a little bit better. But the point I was trying to make was with Coach Barnes. Yeah, I'm sure he's looked at tape. I'm sure he's looked at what they did or tried to do last year and were successful. I'm sure that they will try to get pressure. But again, you got a quarterback who, when he throws the ball, could throw pretty well. He's got a good arm. In fact, Matt Barnes, we met with the coaches today, the coordinators, and he talked about his arm, that he can throw the ball when they have to throw the ball. So it's not like you need this amazing pass rush, but you have to get some pressure in there. You got to blow up some plays with the triple option offense. And the point I was trying to make before I think I went out was that you guys, and you know this, Gabe, because you do it, even though you played offense, the preparation for Navy doesn't begin this week, the week of the game.
Yeah.
It begins in the summer.
Yep.
They take time to prepare for Navy because it's an oddity. And remember, you're going from air raid to triple option offense, next week back to a passing attack in Butch Jones's Arkansas State Red Wolves. That's not easy, especially for young, impressionable men who maybe haven't faced this before. Some of these youngsters playing for the first time. That's a quick turnaround.
And Coach Silverfield, like hearing his presser on Monday, it almost seemed like, yeah, Mississippi State, we prepped for them for this week, and we really wanted to win that game, but we knew where our bread was buttered. This was going to be the game that we had to come out early in the season and be ready for because it's in conference.
And it's legit.
And
it's
everything's still ahead of you. I mean, you can lose that Mississippi State game, and yes, I hate how they lost it. It looked bad. It caused concern, but this is the week where you really start your season in the grand scheme of things, in my opinion.
Yeah, he won't admit it publicly. He wouldn't say that, but you're absolutely right. I mean, they know that everything's in front of them. This is a pivotal game. I asked him on the radio today something like the sense of urgency, and he said, well, all games have a sense of urgency, but certainly coming off the loss at Mississippi State. Again, if you hit him with some truth, a little bit of truth serum, and sat there behind closed doors, just you and Ryan, Ryan would probably say, yeah, I don't think we were going to beat Mississippi State. I thought we were going to be much more competitive, and I'm disappointed that we missed assignments and did things that were uncharacteristic of our team and what our program has done for the last 8, 9, 10 years. We have to be better. And if we do those type of things at Navy, we'll lose that game.
Yep.
So we have to be better, and it is extremely important. This is a big game. I can't imagine what we'll be talking about next Thursday if they lose that game.
Yeah, no question about it. I hope we don't have to deal with that, because that would be a severe step back in where this program has headed. And I think we have an idea of what the overwhelming majority of fandom and media would be saying. Mm-hmm. It's just it's not a good thing if they go into Navy and lose that game. But I think they need to go and win convincingly. Greg, always appreciate it. Thank you for joining us.
Guys, sorry it went out a little bit, the reception, but it's always a pleasure to be on with you guys.
All good.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, Greg. And Greg Gaston is brought to you by the law offices of Stephen Leffler, Mount Moriah Auto Sales, Neil's Bar and Grill, and Chet Whitsett, Cry Like Realtors.
That's a big one on Saturday, 2:30 on CBS Sportsnet. And also, we can be listening to it here from the Tigers Airways, and Greg Gaston will be there. And it will be fun with that patriotic fervor you always get there, and especially with what on Sunday with what it represents. And we all, 21 years goes by fast, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
It's hard to believe. And, for those youngsters there, they were just, some weren't even born that day.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I remember like it was yesterday, though.
Yeah, and I do too. This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road, 5704 Goodman Road, and online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. All the cars, test-driven, all checked out thoroughly, bumper to bumper, head to toe, an unlimited inventory, every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll find that car for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you're treated like family. You walk in, kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, down-home environment, the opposite of high-pressure sales. This is completely the opposite of it. Very, very laid-back, but they do care about your time because they know we live in a world today that time really matters, and that's why they have this guarantee. Within 45 minutes, you find that car, test drive it, credit approved, paperwork completed, you're out of there in your new car in time to do it over your busy lunch hour or like right now in plenty of time to get home for the NFL opener at DeSoto Auto Sales on Goodman Road. Online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Go there, check out the referrals, and look at all the beautiful cars. And head down to DeSoto Auto Sales for that town and country experience every single time.
We have 30 minutes left in the show. You know where to find us. Listener lines 901-360-8255. You can find us also on social media, Sports56 WHBQ, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, where our live stream is at. But these 30 minutes, we have a few more things to get to. Stick around.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging, from the stunning interior complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Saturday, legendary college football powerhouses collide as Alabama takes on Texas in the big noon Saturday game of the week on Fox.
Let's go!
Reigning Heisman winner Bryce Young leads the top-ranked Crimson Tide against Quinn Ewers and the Longhorns.
A matchup between two heavyweight fighters.
It all starts at 10 Eastern with the big noon kickoff pregame show. And then it's Alabama, Texas, Saturday at noon Eastern on Fox.
You don't think about a lawyer until something goes wrong. When that happens, let attorney Stephen Leffler fight for you and your family. You don't leave the house in the morning expecting an accident, but it happens every day. A car wreck, you slip and fall, or you get accused of a crime and find yourself fighting for your reputation. Stephen Leffler has been fighting for you for over 35 years. Don't do it alone. Let Stephen Leffler fight your battles for you. Call Stephen Leffler, 901-527-8830, or go to LefflerLaw.com. Here to fight for you and your loved ones.
The summer clearance sale is happening now at Family Leisure. You can get up to $2,000 off on a swimming pool. Yes, you heard me. $2,000 off on swimming pools. Get it installed in 2022. You'll be ready for summer 2023. Plus, if you are more of a do-it-yourselfer, Family Leisure has specials that are just too good to pass up, with free ladder upgrades and a whole season worth of chemicals. No one else can offer that kind of deal. Looking for patio furniture? In-stock sets are up to 30% off. Play gyms and trampolines, you can get up to $1,000 off with free installation. We don't know how long these hot temperatures will last, but we do know these prices will not. So take advantage of the summer clearance sale. It's happening right now at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Wooden Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Make them drive the car. Make them touch it. Feel it.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Yeah. 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 I fantasize
about 30 minutes more left in the show. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe. He's Stats. Brian Dacus. You can hit us up, 901-360-8255. Also,
let's give Brian Dacus congratulations. Tell everybody about it, Brian.
We launched ourteam.com, Memphis site, today. It launched right around when we started the show. So
what's the deal?
I'll be the lead writer over there. So
why didn't you tell me?
You're Mr. Twitter. I saw it on Brian's Twitter account.
What are you talking about?
It was all kind of happening right when the
happen?
show. I didn't really know when it was going to the site was officially going to launch. I knew it was going to happen at some point, but so. I don't like
Tell
to talk
people
about
how to sign up. Tell them how to follow.
Yeah, so if you go to you can go to my Twitter, and I quote tweeted the Twitter page. They have the link there that you can go to, ourteam.com/Memphis. It's where you can go. You can sign up. We're going to have coverage, football, basketball. What I'm really excited about, though, that I think is going to set us apart from everyone else, is we're going to really cover baseball. I think Eric Jackson's coming in. And I think
booming market there waiting for you.
Exactly. I think the biggest thing, especially with a new coach, is kind of focusing on getting it out there to people. I mean, it's really hard, especially now they don't have radio. So it's really hard to get information about baseball. So I want to make it a priority in the spring to focus on that baseball program. We'll also have a lot of recruiting. So come on, give us a try. Obviously not a ton on there right now because we just launched, but really excited to hit the ground running this weekend, Memphis versus Navy.
The man.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this. I just retweeted. You can find it on my Twitter as well. Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's sweet. That's sweet stuff. All right. Brian, why did it's 5:30, guys? Why didn't you tell me about this before?
Well, it's a big news day.
Brian, let me tell you this, Brian. Shameless plug whenever you want, all right? Just hop in.
Yeah.
Maybe not mid-conversation, but shameless plug.
Your show.
Talking about NFL, I just jump in. Hey, just had an article posted today.
You're always welcome for that shameless plug, all right, man? That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Now, I'm seeing this on Brian's Twitter while I'm right here. The AAC will release its conference schedule for basketball next week, so we'll have some coverage of that. I'm sure you guys will have some coverage of that too. Our team Memphis, shout out.
SEC rolled out yesterday. Well, I said a few days ago I thought it was any day on both. and looking forward to it. Now, next week probably won't be times and networks, just dates for AAC.
I got to say, admittedly, when it comes to basketball schedule release, it just doesn't hit the same for me. Like, it's hard for me to just, like, yes, you're going to have, like, oh, well, this weekend, this Saturday, Sunday.
Tuesday night, January 31st.
This Saturday is going to be a really tough. Then they have to follow it up on Monday with an away game. And, like, yeah, those type of things are fun. But there's more games in basketball. It's just it's not the same type of schedule release when you get to the conference portion of it. Especially for the Tigers and the AAC. I feel like the out-of-conference portion it hits harder. And certainly with the schedule they're going to have, it's very meaningful.
Well, and last year may have proved that you can take some losses in November and December, maybe more.
Right.
Now you got to go on that run that they got on, and it makes the margin for error really, really small. But November, December, I would have never dreamed come Selection Sunday it would just be a no sweat Sunday at all.
I am a fan of if you're sitting in the Tiger seat this year. Do good and you're out of conference, then you do have a little bit of a margin for error down the stretch instead of none.
You get that protected seed country.
Yes, but that would be nice. That would be nice for a change. In the
David said he thinks it's going to be a 4-seeded team.
Huh?
A 4-seed come tournament time.
Who said?
Dave has.
Okay.
On the air. I'm not telling anything private.
All right.
There are a couple of mock brackets already out there that have them 6 or 7 or so.
4 is that's real. I mean, that's tough to do out of the AAC. That's not easy. That means they're probably. I mean, they would be probably their
Houston
first.
Probably be a 1 or 2.
But you have to win a lot of out of conference games to get to that 4 seed. A lot.
You do?
Because you're not going to have SMU of old in conference where you can get a decent win against SMU. Cincinnati will see. It's a wait-and-see thing. I just feel like in
funny, the only KD in town, the Tigers have him.
Yeah, that's true.
After all that KD talk, there's the KD in town, and it may be the most important individual basketball figure from October to April in town. We know what the Grizzlies are going to do. We know Ja's going to do it. But if Kendrick Davis can do it for the Tigers, then it makes the March prospects better.
Something I was thinking about when it comes to Kendrick Davis, I think more so than what he had at SMU, because he didn't really have any help last year at SMU.
No.
Or the last 2 years for that.
Right, there's your first feature. The KD Memphis really needs.
That's right.
No, but
now you got to do the 500 words. I can't do that.
Yeah, I'll give you credit. Don't worry.
Like, and you guys, I'm curious your thoughts on this. Feels like DeAndre Williams is probably the best guy he's had next to him in probably the past 3 years. Grand scheme of things,
like
between SMU and where he's at now at Memphis. Like, his supporting cast at SMU never was much. So we'll see.
The blessing of good health for DeAndre Williams.
I will say this, and if Dave's hearing this, and when I see Dave, I will say this. I think 4 seed's a little much. I do. But, hey, opinion's opinion. That's life.
Gabe, I kind of agree with it. Now, I was very, very bullish and out there this time last year about the Tigers. I got burned badly. But they came on and had a good year. It was no Final Four, and that's what I predicted last year. I missed badly. But I'm thinking, yes, it can, because the guard play will be as solid since maybe Jeremiah, first year.
True.
And Penny Hardaway has shown this. Some of those defensive game plans and how he gets his men to play for him.
What I would immediately say to you, he doesn't have the same defensive anchor. He doesn't have Lester Quinones anymore that he can play for 25 minutes on the wing. So you have to find new guys that can buy in very quickly. Now, I think for him, it's good that he has a bunch of experienced guys that have been around the game. Maybe they can attach themselves to his defensive scheme quicker. Mm-hmm. So I get that thought process. But from a talent perspective, I just think of 4 seeds a lot. Now, I could see this team,
those wins last year over Houston and Kelvin Sampson really turned me more positively toward Penny the coach. Penny the man, Penny the star, Penny the recruiter. I was always there.
Those were different.
Penny the good person.
But we got to be honest, completely different. I mean, you had a big you could rely on full. I mean, you had Jalen Duren, you had a top 10 or top 15 pick. You had Lester Quinones, who's going to be kicking around the league for a while. You had a lot of guys on that team.
Nolly, very athletic.
Nolly. You had a lot of guys on that team that you're not going to be able to replace this year. And obviously, we'll see what Demarie Franklin can be. We'll see what Keontae Kennedy can be. But right now, to project them, for me, any higher than like a 7 seed, I think is tough. That's just me, though. That's what I'll leave it at.
Were they an 8 last year?
Yes.
Yeah, they were in the 8-9 game and then got Gonzaga 1.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, and gave Gonzaga a run for their money, but completely different set of circumstances and team this year. Now, Dennis Dodd from CBS Sports put out an interesting article today about college football playoff. They have met, and they're trying to eye 2024 as the startup for the 12-team playoff format. 2025 still on the table. 2026 is no doubt that's when it would start because they have to get everything all figured out. But getting it figured out is going to be a massive battle. And if we've seen anything about pace with the college football playoff, I think they're quicker than what the NCAA used to do, but it's going to be hard to pace and
They're very deliberate.
It's going to be really hard to schedule all this out in 2 years by the time we get to that 2024
Now, I
playoff.
saw that Dennis Dodd tweet as well, and I initially freaked when I kept seeing 25 in there because that's January playoffs after the 24 season.
Yes.
So people don't be as crazy as I was.
So the biggest takeaways from Dennis Dodd's article, they don't want to run alongside or compete with the NFL. Completely understand that. Although maybe in certain situations it might be necessitated. You might have
see
to
it tonight.
Based on
There's
the
not
schedule.
a college game anywhere in FBS tonight.
Now,
just get out of the way.
He said obviously the earliest the college football playoff can begin play would be if it was in 2025 going on into 2026 when the college football playoff championship would officially be played. Dates get kind of, with the rollover of the calendar, get confusing. But the earliest they'd be able to play in 2025 is December 18th on that Thursday, but the NFL plays that night. Friday, December 19th, the day after, is the lone day that they could play first-round games without potential NFL conflict. It looks like the quarters and the semis, based on the NFL schedule, would be somewhat you wouldn't have much conflict with the NFL. But the national championship seems to be the toughest point of contention in this whole thing, when they would actually play that. And there's a bunch of different dates that I saw. 2020, this would be 2026 now. Wednesday, January 21st to Friday, January 23rd. They think they could fit it in there. There's a lot of people that still want that Monday date, and I like the Monday date. I think it's okay.
It's getting late, January 21st for college football.
January 26th would be the Monday date. Now, here's the wild card that I saw brought up in the Dodd article that I think is just a little overkill, if not a lot overkill. They talked about the week before the Super Bowl at 5:30 p.m. would be a way that they, and this is the way Dennis Dodd put it, is to stay on everyone's collective consciousness. So the Sunday before the Super Bowl would be the college football playoff national championship. That's late as hell. That's ridiculous. I mean, those guys that get done then, how are they going to get ready for a combine? You'd have to push back the combine. You'd have to push back the draft. You'd have to do everything on a different calendar. And it would expedite the NFL offseason substantially. I wonder what the NFL would have to say about that.
Here's another thing. You would lock in a lot of the underclassmen. They would be locked into having to start spring semester in places they couldn't transfer.
Like, here's what I was thinking, too. A lot of these – that's true. A lot of these schools that aren't in the playoff and maybe got knocked out earlier are going to be starting their winter conditioning while football's still going. And spring will start shortly thereafter. So any team that's in the national championship, if you do it the week before the Super Bowl, is going to have the most expedited offseason you could possibly imagine. The other issue, besides scheduling, and I think Brett, I want to commend us for this because I think we've done a good job of really
thank you, Gabe.
Bringing this along.
I love commendations.
I think we've done a good job of bringing this along little by little and trying to get our listeners used to this. But the revenue is going to be a big point of contention. Split between conferences and the universities, that will be figured out. They've done that for a long time. The wild card now is the players.
I want them paid.
And I saw
handsomely
in Dennis Dodd's article, he mentioned $32,000 a player would be 2.5% of the playoff revenue. Okay, yes, that's
I don't
fine.
need no duffel bag.
That's
Give me
not
cash.
terrible. But at the same time, are the players going to be accepting of that? The higher caliber of players, we'll see. But the point being, college football playoff is talking about splitting this revenue between the players, and it's happening. It is happening right now.
When Dabo Swinney's getting that kind of money, and Nick Saban's getting that kind of money, and Kirby Smart's getting that kind of money,
It's only a matter of time.
No rain, no rainbows. Players have to get their fair share as well. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. The start of the NFL season is getting really close, and the best place to practice your touchdown dance is at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. FanDuel is kicking off this week with a no-sweat bet for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a new customer or already have an account. You'll get free bets back if you don't win. Log in and see for yourself. If you're new to FanDuel, sign up with promo code CASH right now. Promo code CASH to get started. Promo code CASH for tonight. It's simple tonight. We all like Buffalo laying the points. Also, we all like the over. Either way, celebrate the return of the football season with a no-sweat bet during Week 1. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Guys, we're an hour and 35 minutes away from NFL football.
Move faster, clock. Move faster.
But coming up next,
I just want to hear the NBC opening music. That's what I'm ready for.
Yeah, that's added. Where do you rank that on NFL theme music?
I like all the NFL sounds. I like the Bills. I like the Winds of October.
We gotta rank these. We're gonna have to rank these one day. Monday Night Football. Okay.
The extended run they kind of run when the credits are rolling, mostly in a blowout. They know it's getting ready to end. When they run the full 70s theme. If I'm still up that late, I love it.
I think NBC might be my number one.
I was about to say NBC is pretty high up there.
I like the Fox music.
Fox is good, yes.
Fox is good.
Let's see, what else? Amazon's too new, so we'll have to figure that one out. And I'll still give you the login, Brett. We've talked about it every day this week.
I'm just finding that HDMI cord.
Did you figure out the HDMI cord yet?
I've looked everywhere. Can't find it.
It's in the back of your TV. It shouldn't be that hard.
But hey, we'll figure it out. You know, if you can FaceTime me. I'll help you out.
Oh, sure. Yeah, like I know how to do that.
Okay, now that you know how to do. Come on, Brett.
My nephews taught me to see their children.
Good.
All right. Let's get a break. When we come back, talk about Crunch Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TAXI for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TAXI for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TAXI.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $8.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $10.95. And veggie plate, $9.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. An oil change with quality oil like Castrol Edge Full Synthetic can help your engine get more out of every tank. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $37.99. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Collierville Auto Center is all about trucks and Jeeps, and the inventory is all stocked up. Been looking for that special ride? You're covered from the basics on up. Want to sell your truck or Jeep? Then bring it in and get a fair deal. The technicians at Collierville Auto Center know just about all there is to know when it comes to trucks and Jeeps, so don't be afraid to ask questions. They've probably heard them all. Every truck on the lot has been fully serviced from top to bottom and bumper to bumper, and there are warranties available. Collierville Auto Center, 651 West Poplar in Collierville, and online at ColliervilleAutoCenter.com.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Let's talk some numbers here.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
I used to feel so devastated. At times I thought we'd never make it. Now we on our way. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
What I learned today, a couple of things. First of all, the first thing I'm going to say I learned in the last 20 minutes because no one wanted to point me in the right direction here, but our team Memphis is being launched by our guy Bryant Dacus. Shout out. That's awesome stuff. Ourteam.com/Memphis. They'll cover all of it. All of Memphis athletics, including baseball, which doesn't get a whole lot of coverage. Follow them on Twitter at OurTeamMemphis. But also what I learned, Braves and Mets are tied in the loss column at the top of the NL East. And the Mets swept the doubleheader yesterday versus the Pirates. So the Braves can't even up in the W column until tomorrow versus the Mariners. But it's interesting. If the Mets blow this, we have to get, it's going to have to come down on Buck Showalter and the Mets curse in general down the stretch of a season because the Mets have the easiest remaining strength of schedule. If you go look at strength of schedule, they do not have much left, but they do have on the end of September going into October, Mets versus Braves, 3-game set. That really looks like, for the NL East, that looks like what it will come down to.
And you really highlighted why the loss column is everything. You can make up wins. You can't make up losses.
Yep.
I learned today Sam Pittman, 6 straight wins versus non-conference foes to begin his tenure at Arkansas. Remember, in 2020, it was all SEC. And they didn't, and their bowl game got canceled because of COVID. So 6 straight wins to begin his tenure. That's the most by Arkansas head coach since Lou Holtz started the 77-78 season. I think Lou's first non-win was a tie in the Fiesta Bowl in the 78 season. They'll make it 7 straight next week against Missouri State. This week's in the conference against South Carolina.
What I could have done without Dak Prescott, he's limited participant at practice. Did you guys hear about this story? He's a limited participant at practice because his ankle got hurt on his surgically right repaired ankle because he wore different cleats So he's limited. He says he's still good to go, but he had to be limited at practice because of bad cleats. Come on. At this point in the season, deal with what you need to deal with. Break in the damn cleats and move on with your life. That's not a headline any Cowboys fans want to read right now.
You think that was it the screw in the ankle that was different because of the cleats?
I'll say this: when you go to new cleats and you try to break in new cleats, sometimes they're stiff and sometimes they hurt your ankle. And the way Nike's done it, and that's what you have to wear in the NFL these days. They have different types. They have some that rise up your ankle that lock it in. They have some that are real low tops. My experience with it is every time I switched, I had a time where I had to get used to the thing. And so maybe the first day it would hurt, but it never hurt me enough to make me limited or unavailable for practice.
Last weekend in Oxford at the building, guess what I saw? The newest gizmo I never would have believed. A gizmo that breaks the shoes in for you.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That's awesome stuff. That's fantastic. What they just put is it filled in the thing and move it around a little bit? How does that work?
It breaks the shoes in for you. I thought, what do they come up with next? I could have done without this. First time in 12 years, the Tigers have had to start a season with back-to-back road games, open a season with back-to-back road games. Started that year at Mississippi State with a loss, and that year they went to East Carolina and got a loss. Can't afford for that to happen this year, or it would be a rough week next week. I don't think that's going to happen, but it happened in 2010.
What I'm looking forward to tonight, and I mean, this will have my collective attention. Besides, there is a college football game out there that Bryant's very interested in. Skyhawks versus Bears, Missouri State versus UT
FCS.
Martin. How about that? But, my attention.
FBS. CS.
FCS.
That's a lot of letters.
The Missouri Valley Conference versus Ohio Valley Conference, if you need to know that.
Yeah.
Missouri Valley is actually the SEC of FCS. That's what they say.
Wow.
That's what they say. Yeah, that's what they say.
I believe it.
But what I'm paying attention to, Bills versus Rams. Come on.
Me too.
The beginning of the NFL season, you get to see two of the favorites in the AFC and the NFC. I mean, you can't beat them. You just can't.
I'm going to watch a lot in that game tonight. Can anyone block Aaron Donald? Can the Bills get to Matt Stafford? And I'm going to be listening to Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth, now the A-team for NBC. In baseball, Sonny Gray for the Twins against Nestor Cortez for the Yankees. White Sox at Oakland late. The Southsiders only 3 back. But we've waited 5 months for the White Sox push. They've only got a month left to push.
Yeah, that is the truth. But it's just been a bad year for them.
La Russa could be back next week.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad it's not going to be debilitating for the rest of the year. But, my gosh, White Sox have just never gotten it together for a lot of different reasons. But we'll see what happens. That'll do it for today. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Bill Bender, Keith Smith, and Greg Gasson for their contributions to the program. For Bryant, for Brett, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night and be safe. We'll meet back here tomorrow for a Friday show.